the other score as well. Our attention at 3 o'clock turns to the EBB Stadium, where we will head now on Saturday's Sport, because we've got Steve Gibbs alongside Rob Worrell for us. Good afternoon, guys.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon to you. Not the best start for Crawley. We'll see if we can pick things up a little bit.
Let's hope so, Rob. Let's hope so. Wow, I tell you what, the three of us would all have loved to have been at Hartlepool away. What a fantastic day for Aldershot Town supporters. And John Coleman, as you know, is not always over with joy on a win, but I think even he wanted to celebrate that one.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, going into it, the circumstances, there was a lot of things against Aldershot, and they seemed to overcome all of them. Obviously, one of them being the absence of Josh Barrett, who we've just been speaking to off air, actually. Still waiting for the results of a second scan, a key player for shots. But without him last week, they did so well, and really ticked all the boxes.
Yeah.
Steve, your thoughts? I know. Oh, sorry. Go on, Robin. Yeah.
Well, yeah. No, I was just going to say on that. I mean, Steve, Barrett has been out, and this is the thing that, from an outsider's point of view, in my case, I'd obviously don't watch Aldershot every week like yourselves. How have they built this squad back up? It seems to be there's been the odd signing here or there. A lot of players, a lot more French players have left the club. How has this team gone from where it was to here, and which players have been a part of that for you?
I think yes, there have been some individual players that have stepped up in the absence of Josh Barrett, but the one thing that struck me this week was that John Coleman he's created a team that's greater than the sum of its parts. They're cutting out the stupid defensive errors, and now they're starting to rediscover that attacking threat. And there's no star in this team. Even when Barrett's playing, there's no one individual talisman. There's no one that you'd say, oh, well, he's the Messi and there's 10 others. They're a team very much greater than the sum of their parts, and they're all working for each other, which, not saying that they weren't under Tommy Widrington, but it was a little bit more open, a little bit more free form, whereas John has got them really organised and fighting for each other, and they're much harder to beat, apart from the last home game, which was the 5-1 aberration against Solihull. But in the last 7 games, they've picked up more points than they had in the preceding 23 games. That shows the turnaround and the impact that John has had. And yeah, it's not, he has remodelled the squad, brought in some key players, but it is the organisation, it's the work ethic and the team ethos, which at the moment is, as I've said, greater than the sum of its parts.
And on top of that, you're looking at players who may be a little bit revitalised, rejuvenated. I mean, let's talk about Theo Widrington, right? Let's be frank about this. His dad leaves as manager, says a lot, about his departure. Obviously, he was out injured, I think wasn't involved. And then he starts again today. I mean, what an amazing story for him coming back in.
Yeah, I think there was always, he's one of those players, and there's players throughout history that have had to do this. You're thinking of Nigel Clough or any other son of a famous dad who go into the same sport. I think there was a pressure on Theo where he had to be significantly better than his teammates to even be considered an equal because of the name on his back. But now I think he's playing with a bit more freedom, and also one of John's tweaks is that it's more of a 3-man midfield now rather than a 2, and I think that suits Theo's style of play a lot better. And having Keane Anderson alongside him with Cameron Hargreaves, I think allows Theo to sit and to pick his pass, and that's his big strength, picking a pass from deep. Whereas if you ask him to be mobile in a box-to-box, he's not quite got the mobility, and he often looks a little bit half a yard slow, and he picks up cheap yellow cards, and then that puts extra pressure on him as well. Given that he is a combustible kind of player, on the best of days. I think, he's playing with a bit less pressure and the system is suiting him better. And we are absolutely seeing the best of him. I think he was excellent at Hartlepool last week. And I wouldn't be surprised if he was one of the key players this afternoon. Halifax are particularly strong in midfield as well. And if he can be part of a successful Aldershot Town midfield unit this afternoon, then that goes a long way to getting a positive result.
Can I ask you as well about the recruitment with all of this? You know, Terry Brown, officially the head of football operations. I don't know whether it's been him or John Coleman who's had a big part. If you look at players like Charlie Warren, and then you look at Sean Patton, who comes in and then scores on his debut, that there has clearly been a lot of thought in a lot of these players they're bringing in from higher up the pyramid as well.
Absolutely, and that's where a manager of the experience and the nous of John Coleman comes in. He's been in football for probably longer than most players have been alive, and he's built up contacts and he's built up experience, and he knows where those gems are to be found. And it was certainly a strength of the previous management team, where they managed to get the likes of Laurent Tollage, of Josh Stokes and other players who had maybe been discarded by other clubs but thrived at Aldershot Town. And there's another player who's coming from Wickham this week, Brodie Peart, who starts on the bench, arrives with a really good reputation as a dynamic, hard-working, aggressive, goal-scoring attacker. And that's probably the one piece at the moment of his jigsaw that is missing. He starts on the bench this afternoon, but if he can come in and start adding the goals, then you've got pretty much the complete team. Miserly at the back with a new strong goalkeeper in Kanaya Boyce-Clark, who's another of John's excellent signings. A functional midfield, a really functional, I mean functioning, in that it's dynamic and aggressive and wins the ball and does things simple, and then allows the better players, the creative players, to play. And then you've got the goal scorers, the dynamic attackers who can play the full width of the pitch. And that's a really formidable unit at this level. And Aldershot Town, they're not safe from danger yet, of course. They play, before the end of March, they play 7 of the current top 8 here at the Ebb Stadium. If those results go against Aldershot, they could find themselves back in the bottom 4. But if you can start picking up points here and then continue the good away form, you're starting to look up the table and towards mid-table comfort rather than worrying about the bottom 4. And that will show, considering when John Coleman came in, and even a month after his appointment, the shots looked dead and buried, but now they're starting to look a lot more comfortable and a lot more positive.
Rob Worrell alongside you as well today. Do you think that the whole mood around the club has also changed now, not just with John but with Dean Wood as well?
Yes, without a shadow of a doubt. For both of those reasons they have. I think one of the key attributes that Dean Wood comes in with is transparency, openness and honesty. And I don't think that perhaps his predecessor intended to be as guarded. He just wasn't as naturally open and feeding of information, really. Dean will tell it how it is. And I think that's what Aldershot Town want from the board. What they want from the players is 100% effort on the pitch, leave it all out there. And they are a pretty happy set of fans if they get those two things. The results on the pitch obviously has been the other key ingredient in the feel-good that's a lot better around the stadium before the games, during games, after games. I don't think there was too much dissent even with that 5-1 home defeat to Solihull. I think there's an acceptance that Aldershot play on the front foot. If they defend worse than they do attack in any game, they could well be on the end of a reverse. The interesting thing about today for me is that the most comparable team probably to Halifax in terms of size, overachievement, the way they play, the way they're well managed, it is Solihull Moors. No coincidence that the manager at Solihull Moors used to be the manager of Halifax, but Adam Lakeland's Halifax once again are overachieving, and if Aldershot aren't right on their game today, they could very easily find it a difficult one. and in that dressing room, probably around now, John Coleman will be just reminding his team to take the confidence from the recent wins, but to remember how they felt when they perhaps went into the Solihull Moors game a little bit complacent.
Rob, back with you in a moment alongside Steve Gibbs this afternoon for commentary of Aldershot Town against Halifax Town in the National League. Is Robin Gray with you on Saturday Sport today? 6 minutes until kick-off. That will be there in just a moment. Just want to remind you of everything else that's happened, though. It's finished Crawley Town 0, Crewe 1 in League 2 in our commentary at 12:30 today. Reaction to come at half-time or on BBC Sounds as soon as it drops. And elsewhere, just a few other bits of information to tell you about with, well, all sorts, what's been going on in terms of the games today. Woking against Bournemouth, that is off. In the National League South, though, the games involving Dorking, Horsham and Eastbourne Borough are also all off. Worthing's trip to Dover goes ahead, and Farnborough's visit to Maidenhead, they're both on. In the Isthmian Premier Division, all of the games are good to go. Burgess Hill against St Albans, Chichester City against Chatham Town, Lewis entertain the leaders Folkestone, and Whitehawk take on #United. And in the Southern Premier Division, Walton and Hersham against Bracknell is on, as is Chertsey's trip to Gosport, but Farnham Town's trip to Taunton Town is off. It is Saturday Sport with Robin Gray here, with live commentary to come next of Aldershot Town against Halifax Town.
Every story,
every journey,
and every experience,
they shape you
and make you extraordinary.
whether you grew up in a big city,
a small village,
or a coastal town,
studied at university,
or learned through life itself.
at the BBC, we celebrate what makes you, you.
your unique view of the world helps us build smarter tech for iPlayer.
Compile personal playlists on BBC Sounds
and tell stories
that truly connect right across the UK.
Here, you can build skills
that shape the future.
See where your journey can take you.
bbc.co.uk/careers.
Saturday Sports.
BBC Radio Surrey.
Robin Gray here with you live on Saturday Sport. Let's get to our 3 o'clock commentary then and go to the EBB Stadium. Halifax Town are the opponents for Aldershot Town. You're in the company of Steve Gibbs alongside Rob Worrell.
Thank you very much, Robin. Welcome to our BBC Surrey and BBC Sussex listeners this afternoon. Welcome also to our DAZN viewers. I'm Rob Worrell, alongside me is Steve Gibbs, and we're about to bring you commentary from the National League, where it's 19th placed Aldershot Town against 7th placed Halifax Town. The teams are out here. Aldershot are in their home kit of red shirts, blue shorts and red socks, and Halifax, rather unusually actually, are in an all-white away strip with blue trim. Both sides naming very strong lineups this afternoon. The Shots line up with an unchanged team from that wonderful 3-0 victory away at Hartlepool last week. So we expect them to line up as follows: Kanaya Boyce Clark in goal, then a back four, left to right, Ollie Scott, Sam Inwood, Will Nightingale and Ryan Hill. Cam Hargreaves and Theo Widrington holding the midfield, Keane Anderson slightly advanced of them, and then Haddy Gandor probably from the left, Sean Patton and Charlie Warren, the Aldershot attacking three. It's a home debut for Sean Patton on loan from Reading. He scored, of course, on his debut last week up at Hartlepool. Aldershot's new signing, Brodie Pert, is on the bench this afternoon, and of course alongside me, before we run through that Halifax 11, is Steve Gibbs. Steve, been a little while, good to see you back.
Yeah, it's good to be back. Somewhere in the monsoon that's been the last 48 hours, I thought we might not be here this afternoon, but really good to be back, and really good to find the shots in positive mood and excellent form. Both teams in good form, but Halifax stronger at home very much than away, and I think the shots, even though there is still a big gap in the table between these two sides, the shots will be confident of getting something here this afternoon.
Absolutely. That Halifax lineup we think will be a 4-2-3-1. We'll keep an eye on that, of course. with the very experienced and reliable, and for me probably the most consistent goalkeeper across the years in the National League, Sam Johnson in goal. Back four, left to right, Thierry Latty-Fairweather, Will Smith, Sean Hobson and AJ Warburton, Will Hugill and Cody Johnson. Your central midfielders with David Kawa, Josh Hamami and Kieran Morris supporting Will Harris in attack. We're seconds away from kickoff here at the EBB. And for our BBC Surrey and Sussex listeners throughout the afternoon, we'll keep you abreast of the couple of games that have survived. Worthing are at Dover, Farnborough at Maidenhead. The Eastbourne, Horsham and Dorking games are all off. Crawley have played already their first defeat in 4, losing 1-0 at home to Crewe. Our referee this afternoon is Aji Ajibola, and he's very shortly going to get us underway in front of a healthy crowd here at the EBB, despite, of course, the damp weather. The pitch looks fine. The rain has very nearly abated, and we're about to get underway. Halifax kicking right to left, so attacking the East Bank in the first half. They have kick-off. Back to Sam Johnson, who immediately sends it up the right-hand side. The ball's won in the air by Harris and sent inside. Now it's up in the air, bit of head tennis in the middle. The Aldershot Town Player of the Month, Theo Widrington, involved in one of those headers. Here's a great steal from Cameron Hargreaves, but he can't keep possession. And then Halifax send the ball down the left-hand side. It's won in the air by Hill, and Keane Anderson holds the ball up. He has had it nibbled away from him by the number 4 in the centre there, Will Hugill. He's now running onto the 2 of the 1-2. Will Nightingale gets there first, clears it to touch, and in front of the away dugout away to our left. We're 15-20 yards inside the half that the shots are attacking. Halifax have a throw. Immediately they go back. Sean Hobson, of course formerly of Southend and Oldham, a highly rated centre-back who's found a new home at the Shea. Lovely ball there, incisive down the right-hand side, and Halifax's next pass goes astray, cleared away by Will Harris, and they go all the way back to Sam Johnson. And a minute and a quarter in, 0-0. Steve Gibbs, your early thoughts?
Yeah, good positive start. Certainly positive start from Halifax Town, and Thierry Latty-Fairweather, the left back, but a very enterprising left back, already heavily involved in the final third for Aldershot Town. He will get forward at every opportunity.
Theo Widrington spreads it out left to Ollie Scott, lifts it over the top, chased by Gandor, towed into touch by Will Smith. It's very much a case of where there's a will, there's a way for Halifax. 3 Wills in the side, Harris, Smith and Hugill, and 2 Johnsons as well, so we'll have to keep on our toes this afternoon. Of course, Sam in goal and Cody Johnson in midfield. Aldershot setting up for a long throw here. That's the potential with Inwood. Theo Widrington just offers something different, and now I think Inwood has no choice. He has to chuck it long. Anderson peels away. Ajiboy, the referee, waves them on. In it comes, and it's a knockdown by Will Smith into the path of himself. Will Smith played forward and picked up nicely by Scott, who sprays it out to the left. Warren in a little bit of a battle with Thierry Latty-Fairweather. Great steal from Warren, very, very good. Immediately Latty-Fairweather responds and pokes it into touch, but shots with the turnover there, encouraging stuff. Ryan Hill with the throw. Back down his line to Hargreaves. Hargreaves to Theo Widrington. Hill won another good game today. That's a lovely pass to Hill down the right. Early ball comes in. Knocked down. Charlie Warren shoot, deflected behind. Shot was on target, deflected behind. Combination of Sean Hobson and Will Smith. One of those, they both dived in. Ball deflected off one of them behind to corner away to our right. We're in the 4th minute. 0-0, first corner, game to the shots.
Really good football from Aldershot Town. Excellent pass down the line from Theo Widrington. That's his game, picking those passes, unlocking defences. Shots front 3 have all started in really dynamic fashion.
Theo Widrington is going to take the corner. He drills it low. Gandor with the shot. Nice idea. Doesn't quite come off. If you were at Boston, or if you've seen Theo Widrington's goal at Boston, he was the taker of the corner kick on this occasion. and it was played low to the edge of the penalty area where Hadi Gandor ran onto it and got the first time shot away. Got a bit of whip on it, but it was always going wide. Meanwhile, Halifax have the ball and clear. Theo Widrington, after a knockdown from Inwood, sends it out to the right. Ryan Hill sends it down the right-hand side for Hargreaves, who's made a lovely run out there to get down by the corner flag. He's up against Thierry Lati-Fairweather, goes back to Warren. Warren with the ball inside, Anderson onto it. Got a couple of Halifax players for contact, for company. Can he win a corner? Yes, he nearly does. The ball stays in play. Anderson dives in with the tackle, doesn't connect. Cleared forward by Hugill. Is there a bit of holding on the Halifax player? Nothing given. Harris was the player, but shouts from the North Stand here. I think the Shots fans wanted something else. Steve will fill us in if we get the opportunity to pause. And immediately Karwar makes a forward run down the inside left channel. He's brought down, and Will Nightingale needs to be careful. That's a silly. He holds his hand up to the ref. But he's kicked the ball away, Steve. You can't do it more blatantly than that, and that could have been a cheap yellow, and for someone like Will Nightingale, he should know better.
Yeah, he should, absolutely. And yeah, I think maybe the amusement, shall we say, in the North Stand was that there was some holding going on, some pretty blatant from Will Nightingale, but fortunately for Aldershot Town, the referee chose to wave play on, because there was a hefty bit of Will Harris's shirt that was in the hand of Will Nightingale.
Okay, free kick then to Halifax in the light drizzle here. In it comes from Hamami to the far post. There's jumps, half cleared, followed up, cleared away. Shots with good presence back there. Halifax couldn't get a clean shot away. We're in the 6th minute here at the EBB. Another ball comes in, headed away by Inwood, taken down by Warren, and then back to Ryan Hill. Sent forward, but one in the air by Cody Johnson. And Hamami now on the ball. And it remains 0-0 then after 6 minutes here. Your live game this afternoon from the National League across our Sussex and Surrey airwaves. Here's Lati-Fairweather dispossessed. Theo Widrington wins it on the edge of his final third. A reminder that Crawley, their decent recent run, came to an end. First loss in 4. Home defeat 1-0 against Crewe. And many of our National League South games have gone to the weather. Those involving Eastbourne, Horsham and Dorking are all off. But Worthing are playing at Dover and Farnborough at Maidenhead for different reasons. Both will want wins today. Here come Halifax down the left-hand side. Karwar stretching his legs, tries to get the cross in. It's cut out relatively comfortably by Inwood. Feeds it back to his skipper, Ryan Hill. And he doesn't get enough curl on his clearance forward, so that one will find touch. Just mentioned today's football. Tomorrow we've got Brighton against Palace, of course, with Johnny Cantor and Warren Aspinall, and also on the BBC Sport website and app from the WSL, West Ham against Brighton. Here's Harris holding the ball up on the edge of the area. It's cleared away across his own area by a Shots defender, and now it's pulled back, and Inwood is onto it. Good work tracking back by Gandor. But is Halifax largely bossing the early possession and territory here in the ever-increasing drizzle at the EBB? The pitch looks okay. We're told that even if a steady drizzle had continued, drizzle even, it could be, should still be okay. We're not expecting much more rain this afternoon. The forecast says pretty much dry from now, but nevertheless, the rain continues as Halifax make their way into the Aldershot Town half, again down the right-hand side, picked up by Hugill. He's been busy in this opening 8 minutes, but Hargreaves has dispossessed him, smashed it off of the on-rushing Hamami and into touch. What about the Halifax fans then, when they got some good flag content over on the open slab there, where there's about 10 supporters and then probably another 40 or 50 undercover in the final section of the South Stand. Nobody behind the goal today from the visitors. Understandably that they would have been very careful about whether they made the trip or not today. Of course, we got the confirmation finally around 9:30, didn't we, Steve? And much to everyone's relief, with 2 of the last 3 games being postponed.
Yeah, I think so, and the pitch has held up really well. It's looking
more than playable, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I think there's no signs of any surface water in the early exchanges.
You did wonder, didn't you, with that Carlisle game? I understand why they called it off so early. Here's Halifax down the right-hand side. Kanaya Boyce-Clark off his line and gathers. You did wonder if come 3 o'clock on that Saturday that pitch might well have been playable, but you just can't with that amount of supporters. I believe 1,000 tickets were sold to Carlisle. You couldn't take any chances.
No, not from that distance, from pretty much the full length of the country. I think it was, a frustrating decision, but a completely understandable one.
Here's a ball down the right from Theo Widrington. It may have too much on it. In fact, it does. Just pick up pace off the turf. It finds touch on the sidelines rather than behind the goal. So Halifax are going to have to restart play in the 10th minute here at 0-0 with a throw-in. Latty fair weather to take. We'll keep you abreast of any other goals in the National League today. We'll keep an eye on the Premier League for you, and of course those National League South games involving Farnborough and Worthing, both with tricky looking away games today. Here's Hamami lifting the ball forward. Gandor steps in. Halifax win the header. Both players on the floor. Theo Widrington with the ball out to the left. It's been cut out, and we could have the counter-attack here. Started by Kieran Morris, out to the right-hand side. Will Harris wants an early ball, and my goodness me, I think they attempted a cross from the right, and in fact it was out on the right-hand side, and he was aiming for the far post, but in the end it went towards the goal. Kanaya Boyce-Clark had to take a backward step, and in the end just got fingertips on it and put it behind for a corner. Steve Gibbs.
Yeah, that was far more dangerous than we initially thought. It would look like it was just going to drift harmlessly behind, but in the end either it caught on the breeze or dipped a little bit, and Boyce-Clark in the end was taking no chances and ended up in the bottom corner of the net. Fortunately, before that he got a tip on the ball and spared his blushes.
Okay, Halifax then with a corner down at the East Bank end. 0-0 after 11 minutes. In it comes to the far post. It's missed by a few people. Cleared up in the air by Keane Anderson. A few appeals. It's drifting into touch. Which way is it going to go? It's going to be another corner to FC Halifax Town. So shots with some defending to do earlier on, and Halifax asking some questions. You'd expect so, Steve, wouldn't you? They're in 7th place. I know their away form's not as good as their home, but they're there for a reason. And under Adam Lakeland, they've been overperforming again, the 3rd consecutive manager with which they've done so.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, in away games, their away record is built on solid first half performances. They fade in the second half. Conversely, Aldershot gets stronger at home in the second half. That could be interesting.
In comes the corner, met at the near post, shot towards goal. Cannons back off Theo Widrington. Aldershot look to counter-attack, but Halifax have got a good set up there, and they've won the ball back. Now deepest player is Cody Johnson. They play it down the right-hand side. Poor touch there. I think it was Hamami, and he ran out of pitch. It's gone into touch. It's a throw to the shots. It was indeed Josh Hamami, who, Steve, is a highly rated young player, and I think Halifax fans were almost resigned to losing him in the January window as far as the EFL are concerned, but yeah, he's still here.
Yeah, there was 2 or 3 Halifax players who are out there this afternoon. Hamami, Kawa, Harris, all of whom strongly linked with a move into the EFL, and at least a couple of them with Oldham Athletic, who Kieran Morris has made the return journey from Boundary Park to the Shay, and I think that was maybe intended as the catalyst for further movement. In the end it didn't happen, but yeah, all 3 of those attacking players, Hamami, Kawa and Harris, potential match winners for Halifax this afternoon.
Early goal for West Ham. They've been doing that quite a lot recently, away at Burnley. They're 1-0 up. There's Halifax sending the ball down the left. That's got too much pace on it. I think, as well as the rain, which is a trickle at times and steady drizzle at others, got a bit of a gusty wind today. I can just feel it coming in little waves,
swirling and coming in under the roof here, and yeah, occasionally you get a couple of spots of rain into the press box. We shouldn't complain though.
Throw into the shots in the right back position. Ryan Hill to take. Greg Thornet, a Shots fan, says, Rob, great to have you back. Hope you had a good holiday. John Coleman is doing the business on the pitch. It's up to Dean Wood to do the business off it, and we wish them both well. Here's a header from Halifax. Ball picked up by David Carwar. He goes back, it's been cut out. Cameron Hargreaves has got the ball under control, finds Hill. Hill sweeps it off of Smith, and it goes into touch. Generous applause from the north stand. Referee insists that Ryan Hill comes backwards before taking the throw. It's also Wolves 0, Chelsea 1. Cole Palmer on the score sheet there. No news of any goals in the two games involving our National League South sides so far this afternoon. Aldershot from their own throw. Hill up to Charlie Warren. Lovely touch inside to Hargreaves. Hargreaves is going to give it back to Warren. Warren takes it on his left foot, sweeps the ball into the area. It's cleared up in the air and away. Theo Widrington dives in and dives over Josh Hamami. Referee Ajiboy gives free kick to Halifax. Theo Widrington has a little word as he goes away, and now the referee's calling him in. And one of those, that's the more frustrating side, isn't it, Steve? Just got to accept your free kick there. Get on. Now the referee has a sharp word with Theo Widrington, tells him to get away and get on with it. Well done to the referee.
Yeah, I think Theo could protest, but I think that was always going to be a free kick. You could see what he was trying to do, win that header, but yeah, a free kick all day.
Now we're in the 15th minute, and this is something that's been planned for quite a while, Steve, isn't it? It's applause for a young Shot supporter that very sadly and tragically lost his life recently, and generous applause. The ball meanwhile is played all the way back to Kanaya Boyce Clark. His clearance forward has been cut out by Halifax. Heavy touch from Hamami, goes behind the goal. I don't know if you're aware of or want to share any more detail.
Yeah, absolute tragic, and I think the banner in the front of the East Bank says everything you need to know. Stop knife crime. Once a shot, always a shot, forever 15. 15-year-old lost his life, and yeah, you just have to echo those sentiments and recognise that the football family comes together, and some things, even though we're here for the football, some things are far more important than sport.
Absolutely. Rest in peace. On we go to the 16th minute. Ball played forward by Widrington, cut out by Lati Fairweather. Plays it up to Marmy, heavy touch from him. Warren battles for a 40-60, almost wins it. Ball's cleared away only as far as Hadi Gandor. We haven't seen an awful lot of shots on the attack yet. They've had one corner, and Warren has had a shot deflected behind for that. Here's a ball into the air, it's half cleared, picked up by Hugill. He's been really impressive in the opening quarter of an hour. Threads it out to the right hand side and then played forward, cut out by Inwood, keeps it on the floor, assesses his options, sends it inside. Nice 1-2, picked up by Hargreaves. He's on the left touchline, sends it inside to Hadi Gandor. Hadi Gandor realises he's got a bit of space, turns out to Hargreaves again, now inside to Keane Anderson, to Warren, back to Anderson, edge of the area. Can he make room for a shot? Thinks about it, now passes it further right to Ryan Hill. Hill thinks about taking on Carway, he's past him, he's into the penalty area, drives it across. It's almost a shot more than a cross, a little bit too much on it. Lovely bit of invention from the Shot skipper. He'll be disappointed with his final ball, Steve. 0-0, 17.5 minutes gone.
Yeah, the brilliant approach play did not get the end that it deserved. Ryan Hill, I'm not sure whether he was trying to drive across and hope for a deflection, or whether he was going for a shot into the top corner. In the end, it was both and neither. Should have been a little bit of a softer, defter touch from Ryan Hill, and then the Shots could have fashioned an even better chance on goal, but excellent approach play.
Here's Halifax trying to play the ball out of defence here. Hobson with a strong run. He's eventually hits a little bit of a dead end, goes back through Sam Johnson. Not had to make a save yet, and that's largely because Charlie Warren's shot was blocked by a combination of two defenders in front of him. But here's Sam Inwood finding himself rather well forward on the halfway line. Another goal in the Premier League as Fulham are 1-0 up against Everton. And a goal in the National League in the big game of the afternoon. York City 1, Forest Green Rovers 0. Alex Hunt with the goals. with the goal, I beg your pardon. Here is Will Nightingale in the 19th minute, surging down the right-hand side, finds Hill, thinks about an early cross, checks back. Now Nightingale will send it in, teasing it in front of Sam Johnson. He can't get there. He misjudged where he went for it. It's out to the left-hand side. Ooh, played in, and Keane Anderson, first time left-footed volley from around about 12 yards, and he lifts it over the bar. Spoke with his father walking into the ground today, talked about what an impressive performance it was from Keane Anderson up at Hartlepool last week. He said he just needs a goal now. Steve, getting ever closer.
Yeah, that was a good effort and more good approach play from Aldershot Town. Really crisp build up, passing, and then Anderson, he had to wrap his foot around it. It was almost at 45 degrees to the goal, and yeah, couldn't quite direct it on target, but a good idea. And certainly his progress into the first team has been one of the key elements under John Coleman, that the potential that he's shown is now being realised.
Here's Halifax on the edge of the area. Inwood stands his ground. The ball's picked up again by Harris. Twists, turns. He's trying to make room for a shot. He does get a shot in. Drills it wide, and that's Halifax's first effort really of note, Steve. Coming in on 20 minutes. I think I'd say they've been the more impressive of the two sides in the build-up, but haven't had any end product. Shots, of course, a couple of half chances, though, at the other end.
Yeah, I think Halifax have had some final third entries, but they've not really come to anything. That Aldershot Town defence has stood strong and repelled everything thrown at them currently. But yeah, I'd say Halifax have maybe had more of the ball, but it's Aldershot Town with the better chances.
They're on the counter-attack now. Anderson sweeps it out to Hadi Gandor. He's on the left side. He's down by the edge of the penalty area. He has a heavy touch, but the Halifax defender in front of him is forced to try and clear it. He was aiming to put it out for a throw, but he was off balance and hooked it behind his own goal, which means it's now two corners each. For a little bit of detail, it was AJ Warburton who did so, put it behind for the corner. And Theo Widgeon going to take, interesting to see, isn't it, Josh Barrett, of course, who we spoke to just before the game off air. Still waiting for firm results on his second scan. Corner taken short, is well read this time by Cody Johnson. Aldershot trying the same thing on the other side, and it was Ollie Scott who this time was the target on the edge of the penalty areas. Theo Widgeon drove it. Good learning there from Cody Johnson to recognise that Aldershot might try that corner kick again. Superb from Johnson.
Yeah, it was, yeah, but also I think the delivery wasn't quite as good this time from Theo, but nice idea. The obvious thing is just to put it in under the crossbar and test Johnson, who this afternoon and in recent games has maybe looked a little bit less than assured under crosses, but a little bit of variety is certainly a good thing.
Out to the right hand side from Hargreaves to Hill, plays it for Warren. That's too strong. And the final balls, the final efforts on goal, just really what's missing from this game. It's been a lively start from two sides that have attacked the game with confidence. We're very nearly at the halfway stage here at the EBB, between 19th place Aldershot Town and 7th placed Halifax. 12 places between them. Nothing really obvious to suggest that from what we've seen. Pretty even start to the game. Here, Hamami wins a 50-50 in midfield, plays it down to Lati Fairweather. Ball comes off of Hill into touch, but I think the referee might have actually blown for a free kick, Steve. I'm slightly obscured by the dugout. What did you see?
Well, I saw the back of the dugout as well, like you, but I think Cowart has gone down, claimed a foul, and
it's a yellow.
And I think it's a yellow card for Ryan Hill, which I think is perhaps a little bit unfair. I think as the ball arrived, the two players clashed. Cowart clearly felt either some contact or wanted to feign some contact, has gone down, and the referee, I would say, is clearly in a better position than either of us, but whether that's deserving of a yellow card or not, I'm not quite sure.
Dover 0, Worthing 0, Maidenhead 0, Farnborough 0, our two National League South sides, covered by the Surrey and Sussex areas. Now, yeah, I do wonder if Ryan Hill talked himself into that yellow. I don't think the foul myself was strong enough, so as the captain, he's entitled to have a discussion with the referee, but maybe he pushed the referee's boundaries too much. Here's the free kick sent in, headed away by Theo Widrington. Hargreaves gets another touch. There's a coming together of heads. Both players, I think the Halifax player caught more of the ball, and the Aldershot player, Ollie Scott, again, would you believe? And I say that because he's been out for so long. He came back against Eastleigh, was superb. He then found himself playing in a head bandage, and he's gone in again. He's just no stopping that young lad. He's so brave in the air. He obviously has an inch or two to make up, doesn't he?
Yeah, and I think that's maybe it, that he has to jump that little bit harder, commit that extra few percent, and in that he maybe puts himself a little bit more susceptible to a clash of heads. But yeah, he is sitting up. Both players are sitting up, hopefully. They're both okay. We can't really see the extent of any injury to the Halifax player. He's obscured by their physio, but both are sitting up. Hopefully they'll be able to continue.
Yeah, player from either side. Did you get the name of the Halifax player?
I didn't, no.
No, he's obscured from us by the physio at the moment, so we couldn't see. We might be able to work out who it is if we can eliminate the others. But yeah, stoppage in play here. Good opportunity to mention that the football doesn't stop today on BBC Sussex and Surrey. Tomorrow afternoon, of course, we've got Albion against Palace with Johnny Cantor and Warren Aspinall. And also available tomorrow from the WSL and the BBC Sport website and app, commentary of West Ham against Brighton in that game. Our other teams, Dorking, Horsham, Eastbourne, all called off today, much to their frustration. Dorking were due to travel down to Torquay. It would have been a battle of the top two, or two of the top three at least, that one, but that will have to be now a Tuesday or Wednesday evening later in the season. Some teams have much worse problems in terms of games still to play. What about Hereford in the National League North? We are heading towards the middle of February, and they've only played half of their games, still 23 games to play in the final 3 months of the season. Okay,
it was Will Hugill, the Halifax midfielder, who was down. I think, judging by activity on the bench, there was a spare shirt being paraded around. I don't know if Ollie Scott needs to change his because of some blood spilt onto it.
He ought to have a second shirt made out ready and on the sideline every week, Ollie Scott, really, doesn't he?
Yeah, the Ollie Scott memorial bandage taken over that mantle from Terry Butcher, and he's got it again by the looks of it.
I think he has. Farnborough have gone 1-0 down now at Maidenhead. They're having a wretched season. Today was really an opportunity for them to make a little bit of ground at the wrong end of the National League South table. Not done yet, of course. And here at the EBB, 26 3/4 minutes gone. We already know that we're going to have at least 3 or 4 minutes of added time at the end of the first half. I think fair to say, I don't think the referee's given a free kick, Steve, as such. Ollie Scott was a little bit late to the party with that header, wasn't he?
Yeah, it'll be a drop ball about 20-30 yards out, which I think, given the fact that the ball was headed back into Aldershot Town's penalty area, I think they will take that. You just
absolutely
hope that Ollie Scott knows where he is.
And I did say, didn't I, that Ollie Scott has an inch or two to make up. In fairness, he didn't in that challenge because he was up against Will Hugill, who probably is a similar height. But it looks as though Ollie Scott has always been quite mentally alert. He will have just passed whatever protocol test needed to be made. But yes, he's got the Butcher-esque bandage on. It looks to me like that one-headed challenge, and that's going to come loose. But in fact, he might need more yet, because
I think it's come off. He's changing his shorts as well.
They're going to do it again. So
he might need a whole new kit.
Okay, 28 minutes gone, 0-0. Drop ball right on the edge of the penalty area. It's in the D here. Hamami is there for Halifax, and combination of Anderson and Nightingale for shots. The ball's half cleared, will be sent out to the left side and into touch by the halfway line by Hadi Gandor. And 19th placed Aldershot Town 0, FC Halifax Town 7th 0. Halifax probably just shading it certainly with the ball possession and territory, but shots probably with more half chances so far. Just Harris's low driven shot wide for Halifax so far as we approach the half-hour mark. Here's Sean Hobson getting the ball out of his feet. He's already 20 yards inside the shots half, comes back now onto his right foot and goes back again to Cody Johnson. He's playing a bit like a quarterback. Ball into the path of Kieran Morris. His attempted pass forward is cut out brilliantly. Lovely shimmy from Will Nightingale. He then steers the ball out to the left side to Hadi Gandor, who's now running in and across. Sweeps it out to Cam Hargreaves. He's getting the overlap on its way from Hill, but he goes inside to Keane Anderson, who plays it on the floor out to Hill. Hill's got support now from Theo Whittington, lifts the ball down the right channel. Can that stay in? Can Hargreaves get there? Hooks it in early. Headed clear by Halifax on the far side of their penalty area. Keane Anderson arrives, wins the 40-60. Charlie Warren trying to get it on his left foot for a shot is crowded out. Halifax have won it back through Kieran Morris. Morris finds Hamami. Theo Whittington's down on this right-hand side. I didn't see what happened. Did he get caught as he played that ball forward?
I think he must have done. I was watching the flight of the ball.
And Aldershot through Charlie Warren, put the ball into touch, and Theo Whittington's shaking his head. And this doesn't look good from his body language, Steve. Just been awarded the Aldershot Town Player of the Month. One of the shouts from the stand around us, ref, open your eyes. I mean, I didn't see it. I'd followed the ball. What did you see?
Yeah, exactly the same. And the Aldershot Town media team just behind us didn't see anything either. So I think we were all excited about the possibilities of the pass, and it wasn't immediately a 50-50 that Theo was involved in, but immediately Luke Jenkins is taking his warm-up top off. It looks like he's being prepared. It fears that this is the end of Theo Widrington's afternoon.
It could well be, and it's Luke Jenkins who's going to come on into the fray. So I would imagine that he'll come on at right back and Ryan Hill will go into the midfield. Is that how you would anticipate, Steve?
It's one of the options, certainly, yeah. I'm not sure if one of the Sam Inwards might step into central midfield. You wonder who of those defenders is more adept, or
I think I'm pretty sure he'll stay at centre back with Will Nightingale, but that's all right. It's just opinions, and we don't know what they've been working on.
No, it's just trying to think who of those defenders is more adept in midfield. Certainly Will Nightingale has played in central midfield in his career. Sam Inwood can, Ollie Scott can, Ryan Hill certainly can, but he's not a central midfielder.
But he can. So Anderson can drop back in with Cam Hargreaves.
Maybe make it a more 4-2-3-1. But what we do know is that Theo is being helped off in a great degree of discomfort, judging by the grimace on his face.
Yeah, Jenkins to right back, Hill to the more advanced of the three centre midfielders. And not the end to the afternoon, and not the time that he'd won his afternoon to end, of course, for Aldershot Town's Theo Whittington. So that's two stoppages in play now. It's going to be a late finish today here at the EBB. When we do get to half-time, we'll hand back to Robin, our BBC Surrey and Sussex sports editor. Hopefully he'll be in the warmth of the studio in Brighton by the time we do reach half-time. We bought him an extra few minutes as well to make that journey across from Crawley. Here's Aldershot back underway. Ollie Scott in a head bandage, Theo Widrington off, and 0-0. Aldershot holding their own against Halifax, but not a lot in it. Here's an early test for Luke Jenkins as Carwell runs at him into the penalty area, looks to pull it back across, and there's Ollie Scott arriving on the spot. Scott on the spot clears it into touch as we reach 33 minutes on the minutes on the electronic scoreboard here at the EBB. Halifax have a throw in, so a good afternoon, or whatever time of day it is in the US, to Paul Bertie Reynolds, who's tuned in and got us live across the airwaves, not just in Sussex and Surrey, but out there in the US of A as well. Good afternoon also to Gina Balsden, I beg your pardon, who's listening up in the north of England. Good afternoon to Ellie as well. And meanwhile, we're going to get underway with an Aldershot Town free kick in the right back position, taken by the goalkeeper. I don't like this, Steve, you know I don't like this. Then he got a slip and fall, and Halifax have an opportunity to take a pop at an open goal. He doesn't. The ball comes off Latty Fairweather's foot, as does his boot. So he just slips it on, quite relaxed. I think he just thought the heel was just going to ride up his... That doesn't happen, Thierry. You need to help it a little bit. He does, and he takes his position. Throw in to the shots. Luke Jenkins to take. Headed away by Latty Fairweather. A little shove from Hamami. Referee lets it go. Hargreaves wins it in the air. Latty Fairweather beats Warren. The ball's sent forward again by Shots, finds Hobson, and then it's cleared forward. Won beautifully in the air by Will Nightingale. Not only wins it, but heads it straight to the feet of Sam Inwood, who's taken on 2 Halifax players on the edge of Aldershot's back line. Don't want to see that too often. Here's Scott sending the ball down the left. Hadi Gandor chasing it down to the byline. Cross comes in towards the far post. Anderson couldn't get there. Patton couldn't get there. Warren awaited it. And Latty Fairweather stuck it behind for Aldershot Town's third corner of the afternoon. 0-0, 35 minutes on the clock. Not that much played, Steve Gibbs.
Yeah, really good build-up play. I think Halifax, Luke Jenkins is an excellent centre-back. Whether he's a right-back, I'm really not sure. I think with Cowra and Latty Fairweather for Halifax on that side, they'll be licking their lips.
Corner comes in left-footed, beaten away by Johnson. Follow-up shot from Keane Anderson. Bounces kindly into the path of Kieran Morris. Halifax have got the counter-attack on here, but they've got it all wrong. Harris is offside, and the assistant referee's flag comes up on the far side to Aldershot Town's rescue. Understandable that Shots had bodies forward, Steve, and Anderson's blast just cannoned into the body of a Halifax player, and it just broke kindly, didn't it? It was a big opportunity on
and they are very dangerous on the counter-attack. A few of their goals recently have come from counter-attacks, and yeah, I think maybe Keane certainly saw the opportunity for a shot, but I think it would have been better taking a touch, trying to evade that particularly congested part of midfield rather than threading the eye through the threading the eye of a needle.
That's the one. Here's Keane Anderson, plays it forward. Lovely first touch from Charlie Warren into the path of Ryan Hill. Sends it inside. Warren receives it back to goal. Twice turned into the air. Gets the shot in. Oh, just across the goal, low and just wide. The best opportunity, the nearest either side have come to a goal in this first half. 36 and a half minutes gone. Charlie Warren with his second effort on goal of the afternoon. 0-0, Steve Gibbs.
Yeah, I don't think Sam Johnson was entirely sure which side of the post that shot was rolling. In the end, it was inches wide, but so very nearly could have snuck inside the post. And yeah, Shots again getting closer.
Meanwhile, Halifax go to the other end. The ball's won by Will Nightingale again. Far too many Wills on the pitch. That's what's throwing me out. That's a heavy challenge there. Coming in on Sean Patton, whose name we've barely mentioned today. He's had the quietest of home debuts so far. 37. Oh, Inwood's gone past a Halifax player again. How often do you see centre-backs taking on players like this, Steve? Aldershot love to live life on the edge.
They do, yeah. I'm not sure his manager will entirely appreciate it.
Lovely touch from, well, I thought it was from Hill. In fact, Patton comes off his man, gets there. He wasn't the intended target. Hadi Gandor sweeps it out to the left-hand side. Scott can relax before sending in a left foot ball. Played up into the air by Warburton. And Cody Johnson's onto the loose ball. Turns one way, then the other. Aldershot almost get it back through Scott. And now the ball's picked up over on the far side by Warburton again. Halifax change the play, sweep it out to the left, it'll bounce once and fine touch. I think fair to say, but for those little half chances, particularly for Warren, 38 minutes on the clock, it's been pretty close so far. Both sides seem to have done their preparation pretty well on the other, Steve Gibbs.
They have, yeah, it is a close game. The shots have maybe 4.5 shots if you count Keane Anderson's immediately charged down effort as a shot off target. Neither with a shot on target yet. I think the closest was was the dipping cross that Kanaya Boyce-Clark just about tipped over the crossbar in the 11th minute. Otherwise, yeah, lots of endeavour, lots of effort, good build-up play, but no clear chances.
0-0 here. Truro have taken the lead away at Morecambe in the National League, and in the Premier League, Cole Palmer's now completed a hat-trick for Chelsea. Away at Wolves, they're 3-0 up there. If you've got Cole Palmer in your FPL side, well, you've probably been quite a low percentage of the country, but you'll be in the points today. Also in the Premier League, West Ham have doubled their lead at Burnley through Valentin Castellanos. Phew. Throw in to Halifax, now a throw in to Aldershot over on the far side in the left back position in front of those 6 FC Halifax Town flags and 10 FC Halifax Town supporters, maybe 12, 15 as you sweep along there on the open slab, preferring to take the light drizzle and watch level with the area that Halifax are attacking. Another 50 or so Shaymen in the stand on the far side. We're approaching the 40th minute. Little bobble there in front of Luke Jenkins, doesn't do him any favours, looks at the ground, wonders if it's going to open up and swallow him, and he goes into touch for a throw-in to FC Halifax Town. Of course, been out a very long time, Luke Jenkins. He did come on for the last 20 minutes or so, 30 minutes I think, at Eastleigh a few weeks ago. He'll have had opportunity since then, Steve, to build up further fitness that he may not have wanted, but his body probably will have needed. But coming on into this one in the first half, the Shots medical staff and management team must be confident.
Yeah, I think his fitness is one thing, his positional ability is entirely another, and there, yes, there was a bobble, but I think his body posture didn't seem quite right as he addressed the ball.
Hamami sends the ball directly into the far post. It's one in the air by Warren. His knockdown is into the path of Ollie Scott, who plays it forward. Lovely ball and lovely hold up from Sean Patton. He now goes back quite deep to Inwood. He's got 2 Halifax players on him. He's lost it, won it back again, found Scott. Scott sends it forward. Ryan Hill's right up there on the left-hand side. He's battling for it, but ironically, battling all the way back for FC Halifax Town was Kieran Morris. They have it now. Lati Fairweather plays it to Sam Johnson. Johnson can go left to Cody Johnson. He's racing forward now. Heavy touch, wins it or gets onto it though. 1-2. Lati Fairweather sends it down the right hand side. Luke Jenkins, not wishing to be embarrassed again, takes no chances and hooks it straight into touch. It's been taken quickly. Amami picks up the ball, gives it back to Karwa. Karwa sweeps it in into the feet of Morris. Has he overhit it? Pulls it back, and either Inwood or Kanaya Boyce-Clark got something on it, and then I think it must have brushed that Halifax player again as it went behind, because he's been given as a goal kick, Steve. We are approaching 42 minutes on the clock. We're expecting at least 5 or 6 minutes of added time at the end of the first half, and it remains 0-0.
Yeah, good strong defending from the Shots, and I think maybe getting the little bit of the rub of the green with that decision. But
Aldershot on the counter. Hill through the middle, out to Warren on the far side. Luke Jenkins is making a run on the outside of him. Sends it in, Warren to Hill. Hill finds Jenkins. He'll come up against Karwa. Sends it short into Anderson. He's into the box, sends an early ball off the chest, almost into the path of Hadi Gandor, but it falls into the path of Kieran Morris. Morris sweeps it out to the right-hand side. Ollie Scott takes the ball off AJ Warburton to stop the threat of a counter-attack from FC Halifax Town, something we've noticed already in this game. And Steve, with this preparation for this, that they're very adept at, big part of their game plan, very organised, not that easy to break down, and quick, incisive on the counter-attack, the Shaymen. And it's an early, or just before half-time goal for the Premier League leaders Arsenal, 1-0 up against Sunderland through Zuba Mendy. Here come Halifax down the left, shot. A cross comes in, headed across goal, cleared away by Luke Jenkins. Rochdale have taken the lead against Carlisle just before half-time as well. You're fully up to date. Farnborough, of course, are losing away to Maidenhead. When we last heard, it was Dover 0, Worthing 0 in the National League South. And more football to come tomorrow I'm sure we'll hear more of that at half-time from Robin Gray. But both your Brighton teams involved in Premier League and WSL action tomorrow. 50-50 over on the far side. The ball goes into touch in front of the Halifax fans. It's their throw. It's taken inside to Hugill, back further across to Johnson. He plays it back to Hobson, sweeps it first time inside right channel, one in the air by Inwood, but falls nicely at the feet of Halifax Town again. Hugill it is, running across the edge of the Aldershot Town final third as we approach the last minute of the 45. Karwa sends a ball in, might roll into the path of a Halifax player, turn shot and in, low shot, driven in by the left foot of Will Harris. He does it again, the Halifax Town top scorer. His second effort of the afternoon, and FC Halifax Town take the lead in the 45th minute here at the EBB. Low shot, probably slightly obscured from the view of Kanaya Boyce Clark, well placed into the right hand corner of the goal as he looked at it, Will Harris. Aldershot Town 0, FC Halifax Town 1.
First, we've really mentioned Will Harris this afternoon, and what a lethal finish that was. Yes, it was through a crowded penalty area, through a forest of legs. Kanaya Boyce Clark got a touch onto it but couldn't keep it out, and that was from the cross down, the cross on the left hand side. Took a slight deflection off Luke Jenkins that would have deflected it into Harris's path on the edge of the box, and then on the turn with barely a half chance, barely a sight of goal, he has given Halifax the lead.
And Aldershot Town have 7 added minutes as they concede that first goal to try and get themselves back level before half-time. Here's Hargreaves sending it out to the right-hand side. Charlie Warren, good quick feet as always, sends it back out to Hill, who's taken up a position on the right, sends it inside to Hargreaves, wall pass, gives it back to Hill. Patton sends it inside looking for Warren. He's won the loose ball, picked up by Patton. He's pushed off it on the edge of the area. The crowd cheers for a free kick. Ajiboy gives nothing. The ball's cleared forward as far as Inwood. He's well forward, he loves to get forward. Leaves it to Hill now. Hill bursting between two Halifax players. Good strong run. Tries to eventually gets dispossessed by the third of those Halifax players. And they clear it, but Aldershot are coming back again. Down the left-hand side, Halifax tow it into touch. And Ollie Scott with the headband on will take the throw. In fact, he won't. He'll pass it on to Sam Inwood. And it's a throw in to the shots. Level with Steve and I, 15-20 yards into the Halifax half. Shots nil, Halifax 1. Here's Hadi Gandor getting the ball down. Oh, lovely smart turn from Hill. He's the edge of the area. It's pulled down again. Nothing's given by Ajiboy, right on the edge of the area. And Halifax look to counter-attack, but Karwa can't get hold of that. Jenkins has got it. Plays it to Hargreaves, who evades Lati Fairweather and skates inside, still got the ball, can't see a pass. Now he does to Ollie Scott. I've got to admit, it's not easy to tell in the speed of play, but I thought that was Ryan Hill impeded there, Steve.
It looked like it to me. It was only a slight touch, but a foul nonetheless.
Gandor sweeps it out to the right-hand side. Lovely first touch from Luke Jenkins, sends the ball in. Straight, easy catch at the near post for Sam Johnson. Lovely pass from Gandor. Beautiful first touch from Jenkins, and then really you couldn't have an easier ball to pluck out from Sam Johnson. He needed to pull that back a little bit, and then anything can happen then, Steve. Even a defender tracking back on his 6-yard box can deflect it into his own goal. So
it was far too
final
easy
ball,
Sam
a little
Johnson.
bit disappointing for the shots in this first half. Other than that, not a lot in it, but Halifax of course have got that lead given to them right on the 45-minute mark by their top scorer, Will Harris. And so far, the headline is, where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah, and that's it. In a first half of something and nothing, the first shot on target, probably when that shot leaves his foot, you think, what are the chances of that going in? There's a forest of legs, the goalkeeper's well set.
And listen to that cheer. I mean, listen, we don't know about every individual decision, but when you hear a cheer like that, you know that's a team that have had very, very few of the 50-50s this afternoon. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the ironic cheers tell you all you need to know. But Aldershot Town have been given maybe what at most was a 50-50. But yeah, the first half has been lots of endeavour, lots of good approach play, very, very few chances. with the first shot on target. Harris, 13th goal of the season, a player who will go on to play at a higher level.
Here, edge of the area, Hill might get a shot away, comes back onto his left foot. Halifax getting bodies back, Warren's got it. Back inside to Hill again. Hill now sends it out to Jenkins. Can he keep his ball in away this time from the keeper? He can't even do that because the ball is behind the goal, and it's a goal kick to FC Halifax Town. And a little coming together as well there, and Luke Jenkins, I think, is pleased and relieved that he's okay. He makes his way back. Probably doesn't really, ideally at this stage of his return, want to come onto a heavy pitch in the first half of a game. It's not ideal for Luke Jenkins, is it?
It's not, no, and I've done him a slight disservice. He has played about 10 games at right back for Hampton and Richmond Borough in National League South, but yeah, given the nature of his hamstring injuries, you don't necessarily want to be asked to run up and down for more than half of the game from right back.
Here come Halifax again. Shot comes in and wide from Kieran Morris, almost out of nothing, Steve. And that goal from Halifax and that chance in the 45th minute and now 50th have been their best two chances of the first half.
They have, absolutely, yeah. They've come strong in injury time pretty much, and yeah, that's the decisive moment. The first half was heading for a bit of a stalemate, but now that's changed both dressing rooms' team talks quite markedly, I would say.
Gandor drifts inside, looks for Hill. Hill with a heavy touch. Ball's picked up by Kawa, well won by Jenkins, and then Halifax combine again to get the ball under play between Hugill and Kawa and Johnson, and now Lati Fairweather. They will be delighted to go in 1-0 up at the break. You mentioned a lot of the time they're solid in the first half, they don't concede, but they've got a little advantage here. They've got their noses in front thanks to that man Will Harris. Lovely control inside the area, sharp turn, low left-footed shot, which might have had a slight deflection, but certainly Kanaya Boyce Clark had very little chance. He clears now from the edge of his area. We're approaching the last minute and 20 seconds or so of added time here at the end of the first half at the EBB, where it's 19th place Aldershot Town 0, FC Halifax Town in 7th place 1. They may close further on that top 6 today. They've done well to actually get themselves in the top 7. Southend misfiring a little bit of late. Southend come here on Wednesday evening. Aldershot have given it away in their own half. Hamami, ball into Kawa. He's going to try a shot and he drags it horribly wide. But it just shows how on a knife edge this game is now for shots, and will continue to be, because they're going to have to take a few gambles in possession going forward, and Halifax are well set up to prevail from that. Here, Aldershot in the final 30 seconds of the 7 minutes added, trailing by a goal to 0. They certainly don't want to go in 2-0 down, but Halifax it is that have had the 2 little half chances since they took the lead. Here's another sharp turn from Warren, spreads the ball back to Keane Anderson. Anderson out to Ollie Scott. Can in these final seconds of the first half the shots get themselves back level? Anderson feeds Hill. Hill back now to Nightingale. Nightingale pings it out to the right hand side. Jenkins does really well to keep the ball in play, exchanges passes with Hill. That is the end of the first half here. So Aldershot Town 0, Halifax 1. Steve, just give us your summary of that first half for our DAZN, our BBC Radio Sussex and Surrey listeners, before we hand back to Robin Gray.
Yeah, we've said it already. Lots of endeavour, good build-up play, very few chances. Shots would have been happy with stalemate at the break, but then with pretty much his first chance, first shot on target, that man Will Harris has broken the deadlock and given Halifax a crucial lead. Otherwise, very even, very even. You wouldn't know that there was the 12 positions or whatever it is difference. Yes, maybe Halifax have had slightly more of the ball, look dangerous, but so have Aldershot Town. And I think the one thing that you would say as an Aldershot Town fan, and I would hope that it's been noted, is that Aldershot Town at home are a better second half team. Halifax away and nowhere near as good in the second half. that yes, maybe they've got leads to defend, but their away record is not brilliant. Their defensive record away from home is not brilliant, and they do fade after the break, and particularly conceding late goals. They've conceded 10 goals in the final third of away matches. Aldershot Town have to seize that opportunity when it comes. But yes, you said it just before the break, Halifax are dangerous on the counter-attack. They'll be able to soak up pressure, and they've got enough attacking pace and creativity in the likes of Kawa and Hamami that on the counter they can punish Aldershot Town. So yes, Aldershot need to press, but they also need to make sure that they keep the door closed at the other end. Fascinatingly poised at the second half. I think Will Harris's goal could prove crucial.
That's Steve Gibbs. I'm Rob Worrell. That's your first half here from the EBB Stadium. Just a reminder that Shots News striker signing Brodie Pert is on the bench. Will we see him in the second half? Will he come on to good effect? We'll have to wait and see, Robin. But Robin Gray, back hopefully in the warmth of the Brighton studios. Over to you. Half-time here from the EBB Stadium. Aldershot Town 0, FC Halifax Town 1.
Rob, Steve, thank you very much. You can get your thoughts in on that first half performance as well at 5 minutes to 4 here on BBC Radio Sussex and BBC Radio Surrey. I'll read you a couple of those in just a moment, actually, because Mike here says, disappointing first half for us, not really showing the sort of tenacity that we've shown in other weeks. This message in here as well from Stephen says, Ollie Scott seems to always get fouled. Give the guy a break. Another message coming in there. So there's quite a few of you in touch with us. You can get in touch at BBC Sussex Sport, at BBC Surrey Sport on social media as well. Just a reminder of what else has been going on today. Earlier on, it finished Crawley Town 0, Crewe Alexandra 1 in League 2. That was our game earlier on today. We will bring you some reaction for that. We'll hear from assistant boss Jamie Day very shortly. Let's run around some of the other sport that's been taking place today, though, across both Sussex and Surrey today. We'll start with some of the Premier League scores at half-time at the moment as well, because earlier on Manchester United beat Tottenham 2-0. Christian Romero was sent off for Spurs before goals from Brian Mbumo, and Bruno Fernandes sealed that win. 3 o'clock kickoffs, Arsenal 1, Sunderland 0 at the moment. Zubimendi scoring there on 42 minutes. Bournemouth 0, Villa 1, Morgan Rogers with a goal there. Burnley 0, West Ham United 2. 2 goals in the first 26 minutes, putting the Hammers in the lead there. Fulham 1, Everton 0, Vitaly Mikalenko own goal there. And Wolves 0, Chelsea 3, 25-minute hat-trick for Cole Palmer. At half-5, it's Newcastle against Brentford. A reminder then that Woking against Boreham Wood, that is off. As we've been hearing, though, Aldershot Town 0, FC Halifax Town 1 at half-time. Second half commentary on the way. In the National League South, 2 games survived the weather there. Dover Athletic 0, Worthing 0, and Maidenhead 1, Farnborough 0. Dorking, Horsham and Eastbourne all off. In the Isthmian Premier Division, Burgess Hill Town 0, St Albans City 1, Chatham Town 0, Chichester 0, Lewis 0, Folkestone and Victor 1, Whitehawk 1, #United 2. The Southern Premier Division, 2 games on, because they've got 3G pitches. Walton and Hersham lead Bracknell by Galton, David Rogalski, who else from the penalty spot there, and Gosport Borough 0, Chertsey Town 1. Farnham Town's game at Taunton, that one is off. Elsewhere in basketball, the Surrey 89ers host the league leaders, the London Lions. It gets underway at 6 at the Surrey Sports Park there. In the Winter Olympics, Switzerland have won the first gold of the Winter Olympics after they won it in the men's downhill skiing. In the curling mixed doubles, Great Britain beat the USA 6-4 this afternoon to qualify for the semi-finals. They are now the only unbeaten team in the competition. Another one of Britain's medal hopefuls, Kirsten Weir, is into the final of the free ski slope style event that takes place on Monday. Elsewhere, 2 matches in Six Nations. Italy are leading Scotland 18-15. England play Wales at Twickenham. That's at 20-5. In cricket, T20 started, victories over Pakistan and the Netherlands, for Pakistan over the Netherlands, and for the West Indies over Scotland. Co-host India made 161 for 9 against the USA. The USA are 13 for 2 in reply. England's first game is against Nepal tomorrow. That starts at 9:30. A number of Sussex players staying with cricket, including ex-captains, former Sussex players, Chris Adams and Alan Wells, and the former England Test wicketkeeper Matt Pryor, have signed an open letter calling on the current board to resign. It comes after the club was sanctioned by the ECB following sustained financial losses. We'll try and bring you some more on that between now and 6 o'clock. It's Robin Gray with you here on Saturday Sport on BBC Radio Sussex and BBC Radio Surrey at 1 minute to 4. Second half commentary of Aldershot Town against Halifax Town on the way. First, there's some reaction to our earlier game. The 12:30 kickoff saw Crawley Town lose 1-0 at home to Crewe Alexandra, and afterwards assistant boss Jamie Day spoke to Gary Smith.
Jamie, thanks for joining us again. It's a disappointing afternoon here at the Broadfield Stadium with a 1-0 defeat to Crewe. Just give us your thoughts on the game.
Yeah, I thought we were second best first half. Didn't really get going. I thought we were actually better second half. Thought we had a good goal ruled out and created a few more chances, and then we got caught on the break. Good goal by them. So it's disappointing. I think maybe where we didn't start well enough and get a stranglehold of the game sort of backfired in the end. So we're disappointed, but we've got to obviously dust ourselves down and got another game in a week.
It was a game that really sort of struggled to get going. I guess the conditions and the pitch and all that sort of thing didn't help. And we said in the commentary there was only one real sort of moment of quality, and that's the moment that eventually decides the game.
Yeah, it was one of them. It was second balls. It was lots of giving the balls away, and like you say, it was a real scrappy game and probably heading for a draw. And then it's the one bit of quality showed. He's a good player, the lad who scored the goal. So. It's fell to him and he's finished superbly. So yeah, it's disappointing because like you say, I think it was a nothing game. It was a sloppy game, and one probably we wanted to get 3 points but should have seen the draw out and kept the run going. But yeah, we now have to dust ourselves down and move on to Tuesday night.
Talk to us as much as you can, Jamie, about the goal that was disallowed, because McCurdy makes the space, gets the shot away. I think it's ruled out for a potential handball against Dan Horsey. Some people were messaging me to say Horsey possibly was offside as well. I've just caught up with Dan as he left the ground to say it's come off his hip and he wasn't offside. So it looks like it's another decision that's sort of gone against Crawley.
Yeah, I think at the time I thought it was a perfectly good goal. The officials have said it was either offside or handball. They could have given either one. So my personal opinion was I thought it should have stood. And at that time we would have obviously taken the lead. So it's disappointing that it's been ruled out, and possibly disappointing that it was none of them that it's been given for.
Before today's game, Jamie, 3 games unbeaten, 3 clean sheets. I mean, I guess you would have taken only conceding 1 goal in the last 4 games that you've played. But does today make things a little bit more of a reality check? Were not the players and not yourselves, but maybe some of the fans were getting a little bit ahead of themselves after the past 3 results? Does this put things back into perspective slightly, that there is still a lot of work to do?
Yeah, I think so. I think it shows that the boys have come in. We've had a good 3 games. Today we're playing against a very good team that I'm pretty sure will be up there around the playoffs, looking to get promoted. And yeah, it is a little bit of a reality check, because I think maybe people think we'll just come and win and keep the run going. I think it shows that the squad we've got can compete with them teams around the top of it. Say if we would have, took the chance and been on the front foot and took the lead, then it might have been a different game. But I say we're not too far away. But reality is we still need 6 or 7 wins, and we're still involved in a thing near the bottom. So yeah, we're not getting carried away. We know we've still got a lot of work to do. I think the lads, know that we've had a good start to them coming in, but we need to continue that, and we need to get back out and winning games.
Back at home here on Tuesday night to take on a Cambridge side that I think before the 3 o'clock kickoffs today are in the automatic promotion places. So that's going to be a real tough one. I guess in the position that Crawley are in, no game is easy, but that's going to be really tough on Tuesday night. But sometimes Crawley seem to sort of raise their game against the sides that are up near the top of the table. Yeah,
like you say, I think when we played them early on in the season, they were a tough opposition to play against. It'll be the same on Tuesday. Like I said, they've got a good manager, knows this level, knows the league. So I think for us it's dusting down today, like you say, using the home crowd and playing at home on Tuesday to get back on the front foot, play the way that we want to play, and hopefully can get a good performance in and a win.
I guess the message to the fans is stick with it, despite the frustration of the defeat against Crewe, because suddenly there's going to be results that maybe the fans aren't expecting. If you take 3 points off of Cambridge on Tuesday night, suddenly this Crewe defeat doesn't get forgotten, but it sort of turns things around a bit.
Yeah, we got to get as many wins as we can, and the fans are going to play a huge part in that. So yeah, we're all disappointed that we've lost. We don't want to lose games. I think we've lost to a team that I say will be up and around it, and we've showed that we're more than capable of competing with them. But it is, sticking with the boys. The boys, want to win as many games like we do and the fans do. So we can only do that if we're all sticking together.
Jamie Day there, the Crawley Town assistant manager, after they were beaten today at home to Crewe Alexandra. You can subscribe to get more Crawley Town content like that. You can hear it first on the BBC Sounds app. Just go and search for Crawley Town or Brighton and Hove Albion as well for more content like that. It is Robin Gray with you for Saturday Sport. We've got a second half commentary of Aldershot Town, who trail Halifax by a goal to nil at the break. To come next.
Welcome to my big show! What a night it's been. Let's go to the dressing room for the latest.
Michael, amazing performance tonight.
Yeah, we gave it everything out there. I think it's going to be an amazing season.
Send to all our unexpected star, the Midnight Game Show!
Any new signings on the horizon?
Yeah, we're always looking for star names who can add quality.
KSI, Melanie C, Riley. Well, it's certainly back of the net for the brand new series of Michael McIntyre's Big Show. Watch on BBC iPlayer.
Saturday Sports. BBC Radio Surrey.
I'll just remind you of some of the scores at the break before we go back to Aldershot 0, Halifax 1. A reminder that Manchester United beat Tottenham 2-0 earlier on. Crawley Town lost 1-0 at home to Crewe Alexandra early on as well. In the National League today, Woking, Boreham Wood, that one was off, so it's just the shots in action. And National League South, Dover 0, Worthing 0, Maidenhead 1, Farnborough 0. The Chatham-Chichester game, by the way, was delayed till 4:15, that one. So it'll be getting underway soon. Burgess Hill 0, St Albans City 1. Lewis 0, Folkestone and Victor 1, Whitehawk 1, #United 2, Walton and Hersham 1, Bracknell 0, Gosport 0, Chertsey Town 1. Some of the local non-league scores. Let's go back to the EBB Stadium then. Second half commentary time. Can Aldershot Town, and I heard Steve Gibbs mention it a lot, that how they are better in the second half at home. Let's hope he's right, and let's hope for a comeback from John Coleman's side. They trail by a goal to nil currently, but for second half commentary, Steve Gibbs alongside Rob Worrell.
Thank you very much, Robin. Welcome back to the EBB. Yeah, we're looking for a better half here for the Shots, that's for sure. Goal down at the break. The sides are out for the second half. No obvious signs of any substitutions from either side. Of course, the Shots have already had to replace Theo Widrington, who went off in the middle of that first half to be replaced by Luke Jenkins. So, Steve, it looks as if we're going to start the second half as you were. Aldershot Town are having enough little moments in front of goal, but at some point they're going to have to be a little bit more clinical than clearly they were in the first half.
They are absolutely, they are absolutely. I think, they do traditionally come stronger in the second half of home games, and you'd hope that the promising approach play they showed for several times in the first half, they can just find that end product. But this is a very well organised Halifax defence that isn't going to give up anything very cheaply.
As we await the second half kickoff here at the EBB, unfortunately Farnborough have conceded a second goal at Maidenhead. So Maidenhead 2, Farnborough 0, Worthing 0-0 at Dover, and they're the only two of our Surrey and Sussex National League South sides playing this afternoon. The other three games were called off. Woking also called off today at home to Boreham Wood. Crawley lost 1-0 at home, their first defeat in 4, and Brighton will be in action, both the Premier League and the WSL teams tomorrow. Full coverage, of course, as always, from BBC Sussex and Surrey on both games. We're back underway. The Shots in their home kit of red shirts, blue shorts and red socks attacking the East Bank end in the second half, where they'll be hoping that they manage to pierce that Halifax defence, get the ball over the goal line. The ball here is a crossfield pass from Aldershot, which hits the back of Aji Boy. A few ironic cheers from the crowd. Not a lot he could have done about that. He had his back to the ball, unless you're going to be really harsh and say he shouldn't have had his back to the ball, he should have been watching the ball. We'll run through the sides for you now. Aldershot, Kanaya, Boyce, Clark in goal. Back four, left to right, Ollie Scott, Sam Inwood, Will Nightingale and Ryan Hill, who is the Aldershot skipper and was shown yellow in the first half. And then Cam Hargreaves and Keane Anderson holding the centre of midfield, with Ryan Hill in advance of them. Charlie Warren on the right, Haddy Gander on the left, and Sean Patton ploughing down the middle. 4 shots. He's beaten in the air here, and then a cleared header from Sean Hobson goes to an Aldershot Town player, but it ricochets back up and over him and Patton, and all the way back through to Sam Johnson, who hasn't been tested yet in this game. Here though, Gandor might get onto this ball inside the area on the left hand side, plays a little pass out to Ollie Scott, adjusts his feet, tries to get the cross in, can't. Cut out for FC Halifax Town by the goal scorer, who more than anybody wants to protect that clean sheet to ensure that he goes on to score the winning goal in the game. Of course, this is the EBB, and we don't usually end games with only one goal. Steve Gibbs, corner to the Shots.
No, but Halifax's away games have been largely tight. I think they've only won one away game by more than a single goal margin. And
corner taken short, set back in by Hargreaves, and then another header by a Halifax player goes behind. For Aldershot's fifth or sixth?
I've got 5.
5, yeah, I've got 5 as well. I just wondered if I'd missed one. 5th corner of the afternoon for Shots. Gives me an opportunity to tell you quickly. Sam Johnson in goal for Halifax. Lati Fairweather, Will Smith, Sean Hobson and AJ Warburton. Back 4, Hugel and Cody Johnson. Very busy in midfield. Kieran Morris, Hamami and Carver supporting Will Harris. In comes the corner for Shots, headed away by Halifax, held up on the edge of the area, sent out to Cody Johnson, well read by Charlie Warren. Johnson is having trouble, he's running across his own area. Now he sends it out to the right hand side where Kieran Morris is in plenty of space. He's got an overlapping run as well from AJ Warburton, but well positioned is Ryan Hill, the Aldershot number 19, getting there in front of the Halifax number 19 and playing the ball back to Kanaya, Boyce, Clark. We've had 48 minutes gone. A first half that had 52 in it. The referee did blow right on the end of those 7 added minutes. Luke Johnson caught out, Luke Jenkins, I beg your pardon, caught out again. Too many Johnsons, too many Wills. And it goes into touch. Halifax just take a throw in from 20 yards behind where the ball went out of play, and the referee just lets him get on with it. He is one of the more laid back officials, I think it's fair to say. Ajibola, beg your pardon. Halifax with the ball, looking comfortable in possession, looking comfortable with a 1-0 lead here as well. It's something they're very much used to. As John Coleman said in his pre-match, there's a smart turn and an attempt there. Oh, Halifax have still got it. They held it up inside the box, and then eventually the offside flag goes up. Steve, a rather bizarre moment there. Halifax appealing for a foul through Hamami. I do suspect a bit of simulation myself. The ball continued, nothing given, but meanwhile Kawa is in the penalty area, stood toe-to-toe on the ball with Kanaya Boyce Clark. I didn't realise what a dangerous situation it actually was.
No, but, I think he knew he was offside because he hesitated and was like, are you going to blow the whistle, or should I just, do I need to touch the ball before an official is going to do anything? In the end, I think all's well that ends well, but it was a little bit, not the most fluid moment of football that we've seen.
Shots playing it around their own final third. Ball from Inwood up to Ollie Scott. He goes back to Inwood again. First time ball down the left. It should be fairly easy for Halifax to deal with, but Gandor's there. I think it'll be... That's the correct decision there from Ajibola. Throw into FC Halifax Town in front of their own dugout. It was Morecambe 0, Truro 2 at half-time, but Morecambe have got a goal back in that game. Both those sides in the bottom 4. Now free kick given away by Aldershot. Keane Anderson not happy with it. It's Boston 1, Sutton United 0. Tom Kerson's with the goal there. And I mentioned to you that Farnborough 2-0 down now at Maidenhead, and I think the second half hasn't long been underway between Dover and Worthing. Cracking game there in the week where Dover were 2-0 up against Torquay, only to go on and lose the game 3-2, a result that put Torquay 3 points clear at the top of the National League South. They were due to play Dorking today, but that one fell foul to the weather. We've got a few patches of blue sky here. The rain has stopped. Aldershot are behind. They're down, but they're not out. Here's Gandor up against AJ Warburton. Holds the ball up, sends it inside to Hill, does well. Hill with the ball to Warren on the edge of the area. Wall pass back looking for Hill. Doesn't come off. It's been picked up by AJ Warburton. He's now trying to find a bit of space. His ball forward is cut out well by Ollie Scott. He finds Sean Patton. Patton to Gandor. Gandor across to Keane Anderson, and then Carl was just holding Luke Jenkins' run, but Aldershot have kept the ball anyway. Warren inside to Keane Anderson. Anderson finds Hargreaves and then spreads it out to Ollie Scott, wearing that head bandage on the left. He's trying to get across him from the left. He can, it's a good one. Oh, good header as well, back across the goal, and then cleared away by Halifax. The ball picked up by AJ Warburton, sends it down the right hand side inward. Oh, lovely first take and touch, and a nice pass into Hargreaves. Hargreaves finds Hill. Shots playing well enough to take something today, but nothing to show for it at the moment. Hill sends Gandor on a run on the inside left channel. The ball is too heavy. Amami brings it down. Handball is the cry, nothing given, but Hargreaves takes the ball clean off him. 52 minutes gone. Shots 0, Halifax 1. The game and the result at the moment, or the scoreline, going with form, going with league placings. Shots starting the day in 19th. Halifax in 7th. Here comes Will Nightingale forward. Ball ricochets into the path of Hill. Ball turned around the corner, back to Hill. On the edge of the air, tries to get a shot away. It's blocked. It'll fall into the path of Cameron Hargreaves. Aldershot having a sustained period of possession here. Can they get themselves back into this one? They could get a point today at home to 7th place. Halifax wouldn't be sniffed at. They've not beaten anybody, Steve, in the top 8 all season. I know that from the last time I checked it, and it hasn't changed since. They've now given it away. Poor pass from Inwood. Throw into Halifax 10 yards inside their own half. Yeah, shots yet to get a scalp from the top 8, home or away this season.
Yeah, and that will need to change in the next 6 or 7 weeks, given that they play 7 of the current top 8 here at the Ebb Stadium before the end of March. For all of the momentum and the improved form that the Shots have mustered, lose all of them and suddenly they're back in real difficulty.
Hargreaves sends the ball up in the air and forward. Patton's not judged to have fouled. Aldershot win it back, and then there's a little bit of a spin around, and Gandor gets the decision. Another tight one, another 50-50, and Aldershot want to take it quickly, and they do, from Hargreaves out to Hill. He's into the penalty area, or he makes his way in. The Halifax players are not happy with Al-Jabola's decision. The ball goes behind for Aldershot's Town's 6th corner of the afternoon. 0-1.
Yeah, AJ Warburton fell on the ball expecting a free kick to be awarded to him. All Ajibola did was penalise the handball.
Hargreaves is going to take the corner kick for Shots. Barrett took them, he's injured. Widrington took them, he's gone off. Next in line, Cameron Hargreaves. Referee wants a word with Sean Patton and one of the Halifax defenders about holding on the line. As Wolves pull goal back against Chelsea, in comes the corner. This is huge over everybody, and Cameron Hargreaves, frankly, Steve, has just demonstrated why he is third in line to take the corners.
I think third is being kind, judging by that delivery.
Yeah, it's out in touch over on the far side, down by the other corner flag. A bit of a wasted set piece for the Shots here. In the National League, Tamworth have taken the lead against Hartlepool, who were in great form under the caretaker stewardship of Nicky Featherstone, and then they gave him the job, and it's changed, and that's happened so many times in football, hasn't it? It's so ironic, but yeah, a tight one there at Tamworth at the Lamb, where the Shots have still got to go this season, and very soon, actually, a week today on the 14th of February. So there you go. If you want a nice romantic day out next Saturday, for Valentine's Day head to the Lamb. Here's Charlie Warren chopped down in possession fairly, according to the referee, and a clever little ball from Hamami sets Hugill scuttling away down the inside right channel, plays a pass into the penalty area, taken down by Smith, drills it home low, doubles his tally, doubles FC Halifax's lead. Hugill with the assist, Harris with the finish, and FC Halifax Town putting the shots to the sword again here at the EBB Stadium. 56 minutes gone. Aldershot Town 0, FC Halifax Town 2.
Excellent move from Halifax, but all too easy. Hugill had the freedom of that midfield to break through, and yes, he did really well. Good legs, picked a pass superbly into the path of that man, Will Harris, who did what Will Harris does. As soon as he gets the ball in that position, you know that he's going to pick his spot across the goalkeeper into the bottom corner, and he did so superbly. But we said in the first half, Aldershot Town need to chase the game but keep the door locked at the other end. They didn't keep up that side of the bargain. Far too open, far too easy. You'd say that should be game over.
Hamami didn't retreat at all after giving the free kick away, but Aldershot took it quickly anyway. Ollie Scott slips, loses possession, and then fouls Hamami on the halfway line. I don't know what it is about Halifax Town this season. They're always neat, tidy, well organised, but they seem to have shots numbered, don't they? Under different managers now, home and away. They've scored 6 goals against Aldershot Town, and to be fair, Aldershot looked pretty organised today. They've been well led at the back by Will Nightingale. It's 3 chances for Will Harris, and he's finished 2 of them. And that's the kind of efficiency you want and need. They come forward here, and it's cut out by Will Nightingale. He feeds the ball to Hargreaves to Warren into Hill. Aldershot haven't had too many chances. That's good work from Hill. Now he's lost out. The ball runs loose to Will Nightingale. He takes on a Halifax player, and the ball ricochets kindly into the path of Inwood. If it hadn't, it would have been 3 Halifax players against the 1 Aldershot. Here's the ball played forward, helped on by Hill to Gandor, holds it up, gives the ball to Ollie Scott, back inside to Hill inside to Keane Anderson with the ball into the feet of Sean Patton, who's had the quietest of home debuts. I've probably only mentioned his name 4 times in the commentary. Can he suddenly make his presence felt in this game? Jenkins goes forward, turns around, has to come back inside to Hargreaves to Anderson. Aldershot give it away on the right hand side. Luke Jenkins is brave in the 50-50. Halifax put it into touch. Hartlepool have equalised through Adam Campbell at Tamworth. Farnborough have pulled a goal back at Maidenhead. And here at the EBB, it's Aldershot Town 0, FC Halifax 2, and you can hear the Shaymen supporters' voices over the far side. 1-2's on the edge of the area for shots. They can't win it cleanly. They do win it back though. Hargreaves goes down. Shots have a free kick on the right-hand side of the penalty area, about 23-24 yards out. Ideal for a left footer. Not sure. Where's your Darren Barnard when you need him, eh?
Absolutely, yeah.
That's throwing it back a bit, isn't it?
Yeah.
Other left backs were available for Aldershot over the years. What about Charlie Warren? He doesn't mind a go. He's realised that he quite fancies a go at it, and we've seen how good his left foot can be, especially how quick it is. Hill runs over it into the path of Warren. Oh, lovely shot! What a goal that is! Charlie Warren, take a bow. Lovely little shift from Hill into his path, and the shots have found a path back into this match at the EBB. They've done so in the 60th minute. Charlie Warren with his 4th goal from Aldershot Town. Back-to-back strikes for the young striker. Aldershot Town 1, FC Halifax Town 2.
Game on. What a fine free kick. Well worked. Almost so little fuss, but cleanly struck into the bottom corner. Left the goalkeeper the quality of Sam Johnson very, very little hope. And now from nothing, shots are back in it.
Jenkins is enough to clear his lines here, finds Ryan Hill. Hill on the left touchline. Oh, what a ball with the outside of his left foot. Stays nicely in. Halifax can only clumsily clear it. And it's the old saying, Steve, 2-0. Sometimes you want to say, no, it's not a dangerous scoreline, but when this happens, it can be. 30 minutes to go. Shots have got to get at least a point out of this one if they can. They've got another free kick now out on the left-hand side. And suddenly, the very composed-looking 7th place Halifax Town side look a little bit ruffled.
They do, absolutely, yeah. If the Shots can continue this momentum, then, yeah, at the very least, you'd be hoping for a grandstand finish. The Shots to come out of this feeling not too despondent, that they at least gave it a go and acquitted themselves well against the team far higher in the table.
Another free kick into the area, turn and a shot, it's half clear, scramble in the area, oh, it's come loose to Patton, and then Gandor does a shot, and then a third shot is into the net from Will Nightingale. A mad couple of minutes here at the EBB, and the Shots will not be denied. A 4th goal in yet another game at the EBB. They've come from 2-0 down to 2-all. Patton shot, he was denied. Gandor shot, he was denied. But Will Nightingale wasn't. He also scores in back-to-back games. And after 62 minutes, it is Aldershot Town 2, FC Halifax Town 2. Steve Gibbs.
Wow, 3 goals in a little over 5 minutes, and suddenly, from cruising, from thinking this was a classic archetypal away day for Halifax Town, not just as it came on, Aldershot Town are back in this, and they're the team with the momentum, thinking, well, we've got 2, can we get another?
Meanwhile, FC Halifax Town are going to make a substitution. They're going to bring on Bray. I think it's Owen. There's no first names on the team sheet, but let me just double check that.
It is Owen Bray.
Yeah.
A 23-year-old midfielder come winger.
Coming on for David Karwa.
Yeah, so maybe a straight swap, but perhaps with a little bit more defensive solidity from Bray. Almost playing that central midfield role out wide.
Games don't always go with form or stats, but Steve Gibbs told you in the first half, Halifax can tend to fade a bit, and Aldershot have a better second half record here at the EBB. And that's partly, Steve, because they keep continually giving themselves mountains to climb. But here they are with 2 goals, probably in less than 2 minutes. Is Inwood sending the ball forward. Deflection off a Halifax player. Nice, clever touch from Gandor. Warren will chase it. I beg your pardon, Patton will chase it. And it goes all the way back to Sam Johnson. Yet again, no matter the opposition, what place they are in the table, no matter what the style of football, the games open up here at the EBB. And just a couple of weeks ago, I gave out the stat on the Absolute Football podcast that 3.74 goals were scored per Aldershot Town game in the National League this year, more than any other team. Here's the shots again. Not quite sure there what Charlie Warren was trying. He absolutely fizzed the ball across the area to the far side with his right foot, but there was nobody out there, so maybe a little bit too much adrenaline running through the youngsters' veins.
Yeah, you can't... That's perfectly understandable. He's making his way in professional football, but what you need is cool heads, calm heads, making the right decision at the right time.
Is Aldershot in the Halifax half. It's cleared away by Halifax as far as Will Nightingale. Nice solid pass across to Luke Jenkins. He's got a bit of room in front of him as Gyökeres has put Arsenal 2-0 up against Sunderland. Forest Green have got themselves back into the game at the top end of the table, away at York. An Ollie Pearce goal had doubled York's lead, but Forest Green have pulled one back there. Farnborough, I mentioned earlier, pulled a goal back at Maidenhead. They're 2-1 down, and when we last checked, at least it was 0-0 between. There's another ball into the air. Charlie Warren turns on the 6-yard box, sweeps it in with his right foot, his second goal of the game, and Aldershot Town have scored 3 goals in 5 minutes. Charlie Warren with 2 of them. Aldershot Town 2, FC Halifax. Aldershot Town 3, FC Halifax Town 2. Steve Gibbs.
Who knows? We can forgive you for not knowing what the score is, but yeah, admirable spirit from Aldershot Town. They could have let their heads fall at 2-0 down, thinking it's another home defeat against the team near the top of the table, but no. 5 goals, 3 goals in just over 5 minutes. Turn this game on its head. Brilliant that they've been able to lift themselves, and this young shots team are showing that never say die spirit that John Coleman would have wanted, that Kwame Thomas was getting prepared to come on, and he still is coming on.
For Sean Patton, he's had a quiet game. Did have one of those 3 shots that led to Aldershot's first or the second goal to get them level. But Halifax about to kick things off again here with Josh Hamami. 2-0 up in the 60th minute. Bang, bang, bang from Aldershot Town. 65 minutes, it's 3-2. Aldershot now need to keep their heads. Warren goes up against his man. He can't hold him. Halifax sent it into the air, cleared away by calmness personified, the youngster Sam Inwood. I'm not sure I should say things like this live on air, but the rumours were Sam Inwood struggling to settle down south and wanted away. But surely he's loving his football right now. He's playing so well week in, week out. He's playing every week. And what a difference it makes to be in a side that's winning games. Shots having won 4 of their last 6 in the National League. Can they make it 5 out of 7? Well, they need to settle themselves down here, because the game's really opened up, and there's a first-time effort over the bar from Hamami, a little similar possibly to Keane Anderson's in the first half, although this one was further over the bar. 1 minute you're throwing all caution to the wind, Steve. The next minute you're reminding yourself that you're now 3-2 up in a game against a top 7 side, and you're 23 minutes away from 3 points.
Yeah, and what a hugely valuable 3 points that would be, not just in the bread and butter of the league table, but for your confidence, for the momentum, for the spirit around the club. And the way they've done it, to come from 2-0 down.
There's good work from Gandor on the left-hand side. He goes down, no foul given. Halifax clear their lines up to Hamami. Lovely little ball with the outside of his foot into the path of Cody Johnson. He sends it out to the left-hand side to the sub, Owen Bray, who's forced back through Johnson, and Johnson is forced back, you guessed it, to Johnson. Shots 3, Halifax 2. We're all just trying to clear our heads here, with a quite stunning 3 goals in 5 minutes for Aldershot Town. 5 goals in another game at the EBB. Halifax sending it forward. Hugill with a lovely touch and take, sends it to AJ Warburton, looks for the return. He's been Halifax's best player today, sends the cross into the box. Inwood diverts it up in the air off his head, and the ball is behind for a corner to the Shamen, who will still fancy the chances of getting at least a point out of this one. But at the moment, with 21 minutes of the 90 left, it's the Shots that lead by 1-0. After this game, Robin Gray will wrap up all your Saturday sport, all of it that went ahead anyway, a lot of it beaten by the weather. But for now, we got what is going to be a roller coaster ride of a final 21 minutes here at the EBB. Shots 3, Halifax 2. Can Aldershot Town beat a side from the top 7 for the first time this season? In comes the corner, cleared off the line, up in the air, followed up and sent over the bar. A little bit more composure there from Will Smith, and your Will headlines could have been back on, Steve, but Kanaya Boyce couldn't quite get it the first time. He did make his presence felt as that follow-up shot came in from one of the 4 Wills on the pitch, 2 of which have scored 3 of our 5 goals.
Yeah, in the end, Boyce Clark was, I think he just about made amends. Didn't make the punch, flapped at the ball. And
what's happening here, Steve?
There's a yellow card been shown to the Halifax bench. I think it might be Mr. Lakeland. He's just gone sat down in disgust. But yeah, it's all happening.
It certainly is. Well, that's for sure. Would you believe not only has the rain abated, but the grey clouds are lifting now, and there's blue skies, big patches of them over the EBB Stadium, ironically just as the floodlights are really, really burning bright. Here's Cameron Hargreaves battling. The ball breaks clear to Owen Bray. He steers it into the path of Cody Johnson. Johnson finds Latty Fairweather. He's got the afterburners on. He's going forward, and that's going to be a yellow card for Charlie Warren. You're blatant, taking one for the team, stopping getting forward at all costs. Yellow card to Charlie Warren. I think, Steve, that is just the second yellow card of the game.
For the players on the pitch, yes.
For the players on the pitch, of course, yeah. Sorry, we just had one for the Halifax bench, which I think counts against the manager regardless of who it's shown to. I may be wrong on that. And yeah, we've got, as far as the time's concerned, 18 3/4 minutes left as Kiernan Dewsbury Hall equalises for Everton at Fulham in the Premier League. The free kick is only going to be a third, maybe even a quarter of the way into the Aldershot Town half. Charlie Warren wants his 2 goals, Steve, to be part of a victory for Aldershot Town, and he couldn't have shown that more cleanly and desperately than he did with that pull back on the shoulder of Latty Fairweather.
He knew exactly what he was doing. Took one for the team and stopping any danger before it really developed. And Halifax responding with at least one more substitution is imminent.
Free kick played forward, headed down and away by Will Nightingale, picked up by Kieran Morris on the edge of the box, finds Owen Bray. Halifax have got it. Hamami's going to send the ball into the box now. That's headed away squarely by Will Nightingale, but Aldershot with only Gandor up, and he's on the left-hand side. The ball's down the right. Bray, underlapping run from Hamami. Lovely looking left-footed cross, but Kanaya Boyce-Clark arrives and takes it, and it was agonisingly close to the head of Will Harris, one of 2 players on a brace today. How he'd have loved to have got his head on the end of that and completed a hat-trick. Told you already about a hat-trick in the Premier League today, haven't we? In 25 minutes for Cole Palmer. Well, Aldershot had 3 goals in 5 minutes, 2 of them from Warren, 1 from Nightingale. This afternoon, flick on here, the head of Kwame Thomas. Interestingly, who's come onto this game before the potential debutant Jody Peart. Here's Inwood on the ball, finds Hill, gives it to him in the wrong position, but Hargreaves battles back well. Loose ball's picked up by Keane Anderson. He toes it into the path of Cameron Hargreaves. Now, a Halifax Town player's gone down a little awkwardly. It's Hamami. I think he might have a bit of... He's got a touch of cramp there.
Yeah.
He's still sat on the floor, but the referee happy for the game to continue. Hill holding it up. I'm not quite sure, but he puts it into play. Puts it out of play, and that's interesting, Steve. You wouldn't normally do that just for cramp. I've not seen that for some time.
No, I think
I can only think that maybe Hill thinks there's another benefit, another reason to stop the game from Aldershot's point of view.
Yeah, I think most of the other players seem to have...
He's up now and
stopped.
limping away. Doesn't want treatment, but the referee's already called the physio on. I mean, obviously, it doesn't take a great deal of intelligence to work out that he's not going to fake anything there. His side of 3-2 down. But I think that's going to be the end of his afternoon anyway, quite possibly. Prior to that, though, we're going to see another substitution for FC Halifax Town. And it's Tom Lavery, who's going to come on for Latty Fairweather, who's also limping now, Steve. I think the heavy pitch taking its toll. He's held up well from the run of the ball point of view, but
it has.
You can see at times the players have been trudging through that a little bit, and it is the sort of pitch that finds out any little knocks and niggles, isn't it?
It is, yeah, absolutely. And Lavery is a right back, Latty Fairweather a left back, so we'll see who's...
Yeah, they'll be possibly mixing up these substitutions, because the other substitution that Halifax are going to make is to bring on Aditoro, and he's coming on at left back. Hamami goes off, and there you have it. So yeah, It's the classic when you make a double substitution these days, isn't it? You just mix it up so it looks like you're changing positions. Meanwhile, we've moved on to 75 minutes. Aldershot were given the ball back, and it's gone all the way back to Kanaya Boyce-Clark. He won't be delighted to have conceded 2 goals today. I don't think he had much chance with them. He's used to being a busy man in that Aldershot Town defence, but thankfully, from a forward point of view, Aldershot have got their game going today. Here's Halifax though with the counter-attack from one of those substitutes. No, it's not, I beg your pardon, it's Kieran Morris. It's one of those substitutes that comes to get the ball. Tommy Lavery, young lad, he's going to take the throw in to Hugill, who gives it back to him. Hugill gets the ball back again, and then Hobson sends it down the right hand side. No flag up against Will Harris. Now it goes up. Just wondering your thoughts on the Halifax Town team and players, Steve. I mentioned briefly in commentary, without giving you an opportunity to come back, that I felt that Will Hugill had been their best player on the afternoon. How do you see it so far?
I think he has been excellent in midfield.
And obviously Harris is finishing.
Harris probably playing the role of the classic striker's role, not doing much for 89.5 minutes, but still having a major impact on the game. But yeah, I think Halifax, like Aldershot really, Halifax have been greater than the sum of their parts. There's not one player been outstanding. They've all been, or they were all, in forging what we thought was a decisive lead. They're all quietly impressive and quietly influential.
Aldershot on the attack now in the Halifax half. Keane Anderson doesn't get the weight of his pass to Ryan Hill right. Halifax win the ball. Hugill sends it forward. Kieran Harris picks up the ball. Keane Anderson gives away a bit of a clumsy foul. He might get away without a yellow on this one. I think he managed to make it look fairly subtle, his clumsiness anyway. Tom Lavery plays the ball into the path of Hobson. He's well forward, and Ollie Scott does Ollie Scott things. Arrives into the 40-60, smashes the ball into Hobson. It goes behind the goal away to our right, and Ollie Scott, who by the way has dispensed with the white headband. He's had enough of that, Steve.
Yeah.
What a brave young man he is, and what a good find he was from Tommy Witherington. Fair to say, we didn't really fully appreciate the merits of Ollie Scott when he was playing as an out-and-out winger, but he's finally, and ironically for the first time in the last month or so, getting to play as left back in back four, and that, he says, is his position.
Yeah, and he's excelling in it, absolutely. And yeah, he was seemingly destined for a footnote in Aldershot Town history as the winner, the goal scorer up at Stockport, but he's a lot more than that.
Free kick to Halifax in front of the media box here on the right hand side as Halifax attack. An opportunity to get the big guns up from the back, and my goodness me, they have a big gun on now in terms of Adetoro. In fairness, Lati Fairweather was probably their other tallest player, and he's gone off for him.
Yeah, but Adetoro is a real physical presence, 6'5", big, strong, imposing centre half.
Absolutely. First choice for long periods for Halifax, certainly played in the game earlier in the season. Johnson sends the ball in. Kanaya Boyce-Clark comes off his line and catches. Sam Inwood was given an extra bit of help in hand as he jumped to win the ball. Ended up doing pretty much a cartwheel at the end of it. And Aldershot through Luke Jenkins, player out from the back. Through Hill to Keane Anderson. Very solid game he's had. Sends it out to Ollie Scott. Got a little bit of room. He's over halfway. Now his ball forward looking for Hadigando. Tries a sharp turn. He's always tackled on the edge of the box, and he's given us a free kick right on the line. Decision for Alabola to make. Yellow card given to, I think, Will Smith. That might need to be confirmed, but I'd love to see a replay of that one, Steve. I mean, it's been set up a yard outside the penalty area, and that's probably a yard that Hill's pulled it back right on the line.
It was.
Gandor with a sharp turn and fouled.
Yeah, I think just about outside the penalty area, but brilliant bit of footwork from Hadi Gandor. A little flick, a little turn, took him away from Smith. I think it was Smith, and heading towards the penalty area. And I think, again, Will Smith wanted to end any danger before it developed and potentially progressed into the danger of a penalty, but still this is Ryan Hill territory. Free kick inches outside the penalty area.
Elsewhere, Worthing are trailing now at Dover, but Aldershot 3-2 up, have a free kick. Ryan Hill. Ooh! It got a, sorry listeners, got a little bit of a fizz on it. It curled a little bit and we were waiting, Steve, with bated breath. And the curl wasn't quite enough, ended up just less than a foot outside the right-hand post. Again, from the free kick, like the one they scored from, and they've actually scored 2 of the goals as a result of set pieces today. They just shifted the angle, didn't they? Just opened it up.
Yeah, it was really well worked. Ryan Hill inches away, and Halifax are preparing another sub. And I think, unfortunately for Aldershot Town, it's Florent Hottie coming on, another excellent creative player for the Shaymen.
Aldershot coming again down the left-hand side. Been thwarted momentarily. Kieran Morris has picked the ball up. Cody Johnson shows one way to Kwame Thomas and goes the other. Now Sean Hobson doesn't need any excuse to get over the halfway line. Halifax won't. They're not going to be happy with this. 2-0 up, 3-2 down. That's an incisive ball. Bray into the area, pulls it across, got to be a goal. Oh my word, what a horrible effort left-footed from Kieran Morris. He had to level for Halifax there. 10 yards out, perfectly weighted pass on his left foot. Goal pretty much gaping. He did have Kanaya Boyce-Clark still to beat, but lifted it up wide and left to the goal. And a let-off, Steve Gibbs, for the shots as Halifax prepare that final, or that further substitution.
Yeah, it's Florent Hottie coming on for AJ Warburton, who had moved inside to centre-back or left-back from the right-back position that he started, and now Hottie has taken up the number 10 position immediately, and he has got the quality to unpick the best defences in this division. But Morris, when you see that move developing and the ball dropping at his feet, you're thinking, well, this is 3-3.
What a
and
lovely,
it absolutely should have been.
Lovely touch from Ollie Scott, sends the ball to Hill and then back to Scott and then down to Gandor. What a solid game he's had on the left side. Here the ball bounces up, unfortunately for him. Scott's in for the 50-50. Again he arrives first, and again as a result of that the ball pings off of Morris, who is still cannot believe that he's missed that opportunity.
No.
It's the best opportunity in the game today that didn't end up in a goal, right?
Yeah, and it was on his left foot. He's got far better quality than that. He really should have at least hit the target.
Here, ball over the top, Inwood plays it back to Kanaya Boyce-Clark. He sends it forward. Kwame Thomas, great jump, knock the ball into the path of Gandor. Aldershot lose it, both players on the floor. Hill picks it up, edge of the penalty area, wandering inside the penalty, squares it. It's going to go out to the right hand side, but Cameron Hargreaves is going to get there first. 7.5 minutes to go, 6.5, beg your pardon. Shots 3, Halifax 2. Here's Hargreaves receiving the ball again on the edge of the box. He gives it straight to Hobson. Hobson sends it out to Hugill. Hugill looking to build a counter-attack for the visitors. 5 goals again at the EBB. All the rest of your sport in the Surrey and Sussex area will be wrapped up by Robin Gray after full time here. Not too much other sport and games surviving today. Ball's in touch. What will this be? Throw into Halifax in front of us here in the media box. Ball held up. Lavery continues towards the box. Oh, Ollie Scott again with a great tackle, forcing himself into the thoughts of Steve Gibbs' little group of players he might be considering for the man of the match today for the shots. Both sides have got scorers with braces today. Will Harris with 2 for Halifax. Charlie Warren with 2 for shots. Warren chasing the ball down there now, but Adatoro plucks that out of the sky to Hugill. Hugill plays it to Bray on the left touchline. Bray has to go back to Adatoro. And we've got 5.5 minutes left plus added time. A reminder that tomorrow the Football Fest this weekend continues with Brighton against Palace from the Premier League, with Brighton away at West Ham in the WSL. It's all on your BBC Sport website and app. Here's Will Nightingale shepherding the ball. Does it brilliantly. And then turns and looks at his man and says, yeah, what's doing? Goal kick to shots, 5 minutes to go. They lead 3-2, and Steve, somewhat scruffily, and against a Halifax side who will not lay down and accept defeat, but Aldershot are just about managing this game, managing this slender lead.
Yeah, and it is a little bit still on the edge. It has gone a little bit chaotic. Not quite a basketball game, but it is open. Probably both managers will feel it's too open, but yeah, this is the squad, the team that John Coleman is building. That 2-0 down against the playoff chasing team, fine, let me at it. And that they've got the quality, they've got the spirit, they've got the ability to drag themselves back into this. When you'd have thought that the game was dead and buried.
Throw into Halifax has been won by Aldershot. Keane Anderson has stuck a foot in to win it, and he's got the double pain here of being caught on the ankle and then the referee giving the free kick against him as well. Now look, Worthing, who are not immune to a comeback, are still 1-0 down at Dover, but Dover are down to 10 with 6 minutes left in that one. After your game today here, of course, I said already, you'll have all the sport wrapped up by Robin Gray, but that will include post-match reaction from here at the EBB, where the shots have turned this one around. Nice knockdown. Oh, that's a foul, but referee allows play on. Warren drifting onto it inside the air, twisting, turning one way then the other. Ball runs loose, and it runs to a Halifax player as Aldershot look to put this one to bed. 4-2 at this stage would probably do it. Just over 3 minutes of the 90 left. And post-match reaction will include word from Aldershot Town's manager John Coleman, who came in with the shots adrift in the bottom four. He had the most horrendous run of fixtures, and he couldn't buy a win in his first 7 or 8 games. Now, if Aldershot can hang on to this lead, he'll have steered them to 5 wins and a draw out of the last 7 games. And for now, at least, a little bit clear of that relegation zone. Kwame Thomas goes in there. Ball comes off of Cody Johnson and deflects into the path of Adetoro. Adetoro finds Kieran Morris. Oh, how dearly he'd love another opportunity in this game, having spurned the best opportunity Halifax have had to get back into it. There's a 1-2 around the corner. Ball's being chased by Ollie Scott. He can cool off the afterburners because it's going to trickle behind the goal. Goal kick to the shots. Steve, we've got 2 minutes of the 90 left. You'll be starting to think, of course, about your Aldershot Town man of the match, but let's wait and see how much added time there is. You might want to keep your powder dry on that one.
I do, but there's lots of contenders as well. There's been some really, from front to back, you could say Will Nightingale, a couple of the midfield. The attackers have worked tirelessly.
Here's Halifax on the counter-attack, well won by Inwood, and choice really of Inwood or Anderson onto the next ball. Kwame Thomas has got it, holds it up, sends it out to the left side to Hadi Gandor. He's up against Lavery, squares the ball across, a little deflection on it, and it's kind for Sam Johnson. It could have been kinder for Kwame Thomas. He could have been getting himself on the score sheet for a second week.
He thought he was going to for a second.
Yeah, and that would have been 3 players then on the score sheet for the second week running. Is Ollie Scott trying to tackle Hobson, who sees him coming, turns around, goes back to Cody Johnson. This one's so far from done, regardless of how much added time there is. Halifax Town are stung, and they've been stung into a response. They will not let Aldershot see this one out with any ease. Here's Kwame Thomas holding the ball up again, finds Anderson on the right touchline. He just keeps it in. Inside now and backwards to Will Nightingale. Aldershot would love to take the sting out of the game. They've not been able to. Equally though, they've had their chances going forward. Here, a rare heavy touch from Ollie Scott. Lavery will go back to Sam Johnson. And regardless of the qualities of the team, we know the qualities of the goalkeeper. We lauded him before the game. It's not often that Sam Johnson lets 3 goals in, Steve Gibb.
It's not, no.
And not much chance with any of them.
No, I think that's been the quality that Aldershot Town have belatedly mustered.
Here's Will Nightingale onto the ball, shakes off Lavery. He's another one, been superb, played with aplomb. Oh, he's drifted past one, then two. Now a ball out to the left wing, nicely taken by Gandor, sends it into Kwame Thomas. He sends it back to Gandor, and Gandor sends in the left-footed cross, and he gets it wrong, lifts it a little bit high. Forgivable, Steve, understandable. He's worked tirelessly, and he's not a winger. He knows he's not a winger. He was called a winger by the Hartlepool commentary team last week. Let's be honest, he's playing as a winger right now, and he's given everything to the cause, and just a little bit of fatigue on the heavy pitch caught him out on that one. Lovely move though from Shots.
It was, absolutely, yeah, and Will Nightingale there, absolutely superb, and he has been outstanding for me this afternoon. I'm not going to say he's my man of the match yet, but he's definitely in the reckoning. And now maybe just a footnote this afternoon in what has been another tumultuous occasion at the Ebb Stadium, but a Shots debut for new signing Brodie Peart, replacing Keane Anderson, who himself has been excellent, and arrives with an excellent reputation as another dynamic, creative, live wire attacker. Peart, we may not see it this afternoon, but I'm excited to see what he can do in the red and blue over the next 18 months or so.
Well, if he fancies a bit of a script, he's got 2.5 minutes of added time left, 4 to score on his debut.
That would be the cherry on the cake.
Ryan Hill, meanwhile, has just slotted in alongside Cameron Hargreaves, the third player to do so this afternoon. Hargreaves, as ever, his usual Duracell self, perhaps not caught the eye as much, but always a key cog in the midfield of that Aldershot Town team. Here's Inwood with a throw down the line, another one that's probably made that group of 8 or 9 that Steve's considering the man of the match for the Shots. Halifax still asking questions. 92 gone, a minimum of 94 to be played. Adatoro sends it forward, Hobson chests it down, follow-up shot, wicked deflection, and Boyce Clark catches it. If he'd moved early towards that ball, Steve, that would have been over his head and into the goal, but he had the presence to just wait and see what the deflection did. Throws it out to Ollie Scott. Scott lifts one forward down the left side. Surely that's climbing over the back of Kwame Thomas by Will Smith. No, it's not, nothing given, and there's a shove off the ball. Substitute there, and there's a scuffle now. Players from both sides involved. I can tell you one thing clearly, and that is that David Kawa, his head has gone. He's come off the bench and he's shoved Ollie Scott to the ground. Now everybody else has piled in. I've not seen anything else clear, but I'd expect a red card for David Kawa, even though he's already been substituted.
Yeah,
if the referee saw what we saw, Steve.
I'm not quite sure what anybody would have seen. There were a few players on both sides that were the aggressors. Yes, Ollie Scott committed a foul. The Halifax bench were the aggressors. There are a couple of players on both teams that have maybe inflamed the situation. I think it's now just down to Mr. Ajibola to see what bones he can pick from that.
He's taken his time, Steve. He's having a really good think. He can't have eyes everywhere. There's one clear decision to be made if he saw it, because you quite frankly, whatever the situation, you can't come off the bench onto the pitch full stop. If you then blatantly shove somebody to the ground, then you're asking the referee to make a decision. I think he might be going to get away with it, David Kawa. He actually lost his head for a second time and came on again. And yet I don't think either of the officials are going to give anything.
Kwame Thomas has got a red. And he was one of the aggressors.
Right, okay, Kwame Thomas red. I didn't see that, but the referee has seen something. He's after someone else as well. I'm not sure if it's Ollie Scott. Is Ollie Scott going to get a booking for the foul, I wonder? It's a yellow card for Ollie Scott. Now, has the actions... Yeah, apologies for any unsavoury language. Referee's coming over, and I tell you what, I've got no thoughts on the Kwame Thomas one because I didn't see it, but I think he has to come and send off David Kawa now, just confirming the identity of the player that did it. He's being asked off the bench. It is indeed David Carwar, and David Carwar will get a yellow card. Can you believe it? Can you believe that? Listen, the scoreline's the most important thing. It's 3-2 to Shots. Halifax will be getting us underway shortly with a Sam Johnson free kick. And Ajibola has given his 3 decisions. And we'll debate them once the game's finished, Steve, because we're now well beyond the 4 added. We've probably got 90 seconds or so to go. Shots 3, Halifax 2. Kwame Thomas given a straight red for Shots. Ollie Scott booked. And the free kick taken by Sam Johnson into the area. Headed backwards by Will Nightingale, cleared away by Sam Inwood. And then a free kick to Aldershot. And it's a difficult job for a referee when everybody gets involved like that. You have to sympathise with the referee. He's got a bit of extra admin that he didn't want, 3 lots of it. But how can a player come off of the bench onto the pitch twice with complete head loss, shove the player that had caused the foul, Ollie Scott, to the ground and get a yellow card? How can that be yellow?
Yeah, it should. I think Kwame Thomas's red, I think I can understand. He was one of the aggressors. But Cower, for what he did, from the position that he did it, that is certainly more than a yellow.
Johnson kicks from his hands into the final bits of added time. Another header winner from Nightingale, sent back in by Hugel. Big headed winner by Luke Jenkins, sent back in again. Clearance by Luke Jenkins, only as far as Hugel. Hugel out to the right hand side to Lavery. Lavery sends a cross in very, very deep to the far post, headed back by Aditoro. Offside flag against Aditoro. Now, for our Surrey and Sussex listeners, Robin Gray will wrap this all up for you later. I don't know how they did it or how late they did it, but Worthing came back to get a point with a 1-1 at Dover, and Farnborough came back from Maidenhead from 2-0 down to get a 2-2 draw. Aldershot came back from 2-0 down and they lead 3-2 in the 98th minute of 94. Yes, it's been that kind of afternoon. Kanaya Boyce Clark with the goal kick. Will this signal the end of the game? It does. The 3 points are staying in North East Hampshire. Aldershot have somehow, some way exacted revenge against Adam Lakeland's FC Halifax Town. Trailed by 2-0, but 3 goals in 5 minutes see the points stay at the EBB. Tarnished somewhat at the end in a moment of madness from more than one player, of which Kwame Thomas has been shown red. But the Shots have their 5th win, Steve, and a draw out of the last 7. We'll look at the other results when we can, and those league positions. We'll wrap it all up with Robin in just a moment, but initially with your good self, give us your thoughts on that one today.
Wow, where do we start? We need a whole hour to pick our way through that, but what an afternoon, what a comeback from Aldershot Town. Players are going over to the East Bank, taking the rapturous plaudits from the Shots fans behind that goal, and quite rightly so. At 2-0 down, with virtually an hour gone, you think this is a routine away win for a team chasing the playoffs in FC Halifax Town, but no. John Coleman has built a spirit and a squad and a team that are made of sterner stuff. They don't know when they're beaten, and at the moment they are the team in form, one of the informed teams in this division. And if they can take this sort of performance forward into the forthcoming home games, and it is an unforgiving run of home games against the other teams in the top 7, but they will fancy their chances against anyone in this sort of form and in this sort of spirit and mindset. And yeah, what an afternoon. What an afternoon.
Yeah,
harsh on Halifax, who were quietly excellent in building a 2-0 lead, but then they just didn't know what hit them in that 5 minutes, and then the Shots threw everything at protecting that 3-2 lead, and you can see what it means to them. That is a hugely impressive result for Aldershot Town, and something of a statement of intent now for the rest of the season. But these are the standards they're setting, and now they have to match them.
They certainly do, Steve. Robin, just tying it all up and coming back to you in the studio. What started as a real blank of an afternoon for our Surrey and Sussex sides has ended up in a story about adversity and coming back from it, right?
It certainly has, Rob. Amazing. Well, we've been gripped by your coverage this afternoon, and it's your chance to have your say as well. Come and have a chat with us. We'll try and bring you John Coleman live on the programme as well between now and 6. He's sometimes late out, isn't he, Rob? But the only reason why he'd be late out tonight is surely because he'd be partying.
I don't know about that. He'll be giving it the old don't get too high in victory. But actually, it's been good to see him enjoying the victories a little bit more of late. He had to be patient for them. But once again today, Robin, we've seen the spirit of this Aldershot Town side. Listen, if this game had gone to the league table form, Halifax going away with a 1 or 2-0 win away from home wouldn't have made anybody raise their eyebrows. But yet again, they didn't accept it, and the goals were well worked. And we've been critical at times this season of Aldershot's set pieces, but for 2 of those 3 goals, they worked it, and they worked it short. They don't normally have a height advantage, so they have to work an angle, they have to work an opening. They did that well. A brace for Charlie Warren, a brace for Will Harris, of course, on the other side. And ultimately, where there were wills, there were ways.
Steve Gibbs alongside you. Steve, we spoke in the build-up about this game, didn't we, a little bit? About, okay, it's all been going really well, but they've got a really tough run of fixtures. Could this be one of the biggest, despite how good they were at Hartlepool and they dispatched Eastleigh and all that, is this maybe the one that John Coleman will like the most from his wins so far?
I think so, yeah, given the adversity, given the quality of the opposition, and the way that they are, once they get in the lead, they don't often throw it away. But Aldershot Town have thrown the kitchen sink at them in 5 minutes and turned the game on its head, and then fought like Trojans to keep that lead. And yeah, I think as a team performance through adversity, I think this is as good as it's been for John Coleman. There's been other really impressive performances, really good victories, but this one I think will feel really sweet, considering they came back from the dead against a really good quality team with lots of experience, lots of quality, and yeah, they would not have expected it. With an hour gone, they were dead and buried, and it was Halifax. Well, they're thinking, well, can we get 3? Can we get 4? But no, suddenly Aldershot Town just flicked a switch, and Halifax did not know what had hit them, and they didn't have an answer. Yes, Kieran Morris should have equalised on his favoured left foot, open goal, about 7 yards, should have scored, would score, I would say, over 90 times out of 100, but that's the way it goes. Maybe it was the pitch, maybe it was the pressure, maybe it's just you haven't got that composure at the right time, at the right moment, in the right place. But yeah, somehow Aldershot Town have come out of this with 3 points, and it's vital. I haven't seen the league table yet. I don't know if it's moved Aldershot Town further up the table, but it's, yeah, whatever the position this evening, the jolt in the arm that it will give them, with Southend, promotion chasing Southend coming here on Wednesday, they will see that result and think, oh, suddenly this could be a really, really difficult game.
The 16th.
A wounded Southend.
The 16th tonight.
Wow.
4 points clear of Braintree, who incidentally, I think Braintree won today, didn't they? They beat Eastleigh. Oh no, last time out, sorry, they beat Eastleigh.
Yeah, it was called off today, I think.
Considering where Aldershot Town were, not just when John Coleman took over, but a month into his reign, that is absolute paradise for Aldershot Town.
3 points behind Woking, guys.
Yeah, they're playing the long
Stop it,
game.
Robin.
They're playing the long game, Robin. There we go. But Southend, incidentally, who come here on Wednesday, have lost 1-0 at Scunthorpe today. It was their opportunity to get themselves back towards that top 7, to close the gap to the top 6, who've broken away a little bit, and they couldn't do it. They fired a blank, and they'll need to come here in some form to beat John Coleman's Aldershot Town right now. They've lost 1 in 7. They lost 8 on the trot, Robin, and now they've lost 1 in 7, winning 5 and drawing 1. And I just want to congratulate you, Robin, because for the first time this season we had an Aldershot Town game live on the radio on BBC Sussex and Surrey, and it was Clairvoyant, Robin, that picked this game today.
It must have been. Guys, we'll be back with you shortly. First of all, I want to replay the goals again. Let's get into it.
All the reaction from the big match. This is the final whistle.
Good evening, Robin Gray with you for the final whistle. Well, we'll come on to the joy of Aldershot in a moment, but in the early kick-off, it was disappointment for Crawley.
Touch forward by Hutchinson, plays the little 1-2 with Tebow and breaks forward down this left-hand side and plays the ball into the box. And it's drilled home, and it's that man O'Reilly, and that could be the goal that condemns Crawley to their first defeat in 4 games.
Yeah, disappointment for Crawley Town, but in the National League, an astonishing comeback from Aldershot, who were 2-0 down, scored twice in 2 minutes to level, and then this happened.
There's another ball into the air. Pat. Oh, Charlie Warren turns on the 6-yard box, sweeps it in with his right foot. Aldershot Town have scored 3 goals in 5 minutes. Charlie Warren with 2 of them. Aldershot Town 3, FC Halifax Town 2.
Well, I'll tell you what, we were wondering today how much action there'd be because of the weather, and Woking's game was off, and the National League South as well. We didn't see games for Dorking, Horsham and Eastbourne Borough. Worthing got a leveller in injury time there at Dover, and Farnborough came from behind to draw in the end. In the Premier League, Arsenal beat Sunderland, Villa are held at Bournemouth, Manchester United and Chelsea won to tighten the race for the Champions League spots. Everton and West Ham were also victorious. At the Winter Olympics, Great Britain reached the semi-finals of the mixed curling. There's a shock in the Six Nations as Italy beat Scotland, and England are in control early on against Wales. And the former Sussex captains Chris Adams and Alan Wells are among ex-players